Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sarcasm City Sports Q&A. Sorry for the lateness. We didn't want to do it. I'm joking. But yeah, if you're new, please subscribe, hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you're watching this back, make sure you do both. Also, if you are not a member, become a member. We're trying to get to 4K and eventually 5K. So keep the subs going up. I'm joined today by my lovely little brother. He's like one of my closest friends right now. So yeah, my little bro, the lovely Ryan, who is the face of Sarcasm City at the moment. So yeah, how are you doing tonight, Ryan?
That was a lovely intro, but what did you mean I'm one of your closest friends right now? Haven't I always been that for the last
You're not happy
few
with
months?
that. She was actually nice about you. You're still complaining.
I'm just saying, innit? I thought we were close friends over the last few months.
Complaining.
Always complaining.
It's nice to know it's just happened now then, innit? It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Now I know the last few months were worth nothing, innit? So.
Okay. And I'm also joined by the lovely, the beautiful Eleanor, who you see a lot on here at the moment. She's joined the panel. Yeah, so how you doing, Eleanor?
I'm good. Very happy to be here as always. Best time on a Sunday. This lovely Q&A with you two, and normally Flawless, but he's at the moment it's you two being the face of Sarcasm City at the moment.
Well, I think obviously the trio used to be me, Jan, and Flawless, but I kind of prefer this trio a bit more.
No matter who's not on here, I prefer them. I prefer them.
I think this trio it's a better mix, a better combination in my opinion. So yeah, I think this should be the three going forward. To be fair.
We'll kick him out the chat, his own channel. We'll kick him out the chat later.
Look, tough decisions might have to be made. Tough decisions might have to be made.
I'm not involved in this slander session.
Well, you're outnumbered right now. Outnumbering you.
But yeah, if you've not watched the Q&A before, guys, basically you can ask us any questions. Sports related, doesn't have to be football, can be tennis, basketball, cricket, whatever, and then we'll try and answer them.
Obviously, it can even be chess because that counts as a sport as well.
Yeah, Ryan will answer any chess questions.
I've never played chess in my life. I don't know the rules. All I know is from Harry Potter when Ron was a very good chess player in the first one, and they had to do that big chessboard at the end, innit?
Do you know what? I used to have a chessboard. You know, one of them glass ones. And then my auntie bought me a Harry Potter version, and it was like Harry Potter chess.
That's so cute.
And then I don't think I ever really played it. I don't really like chess. I know briefly what each thing can do, but I'm not the best at chess. I couldn't.
I don't know how to play chess, but I'd love a Harry Potter chessboard. Just for the
Harry Potter. Yeah, but Harry Potter's completely different because they're like the horse.
Make sure you're getting your people. I know this is a sports Q&A, but make sure you're getting your Harry Potter questions as well.
Yeah, we love Harry Potter.
We all Harry Potter fans here. Please.
Yeah, we're all even Flawless.
Even Flawless, who hates everything that we like. Still,
he's a massive Harry Potter fan.
I'm a proud Ravenclaw. So yes.
I'm a Slytherin, apparently.
Yeah, you're definitely Slytherin.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
What do you mean? I'm gonna just I don't know. What are you, Jan?
I don't know.
I've got to send you.
I think you're Gryffindor. You're a bit of a passion merchant.
He thinks I'm a passion merchant. Listen, when Gryffindor used to win every year, so that just says it all.
Yeah, well, that was because Dumbledore was just giving him bare points at the end.
Look at this city life. I'm telling you, the city life is nice. They're sitting nice up there. Look at this. I couldn't have that. What do I say? Oh, we tried.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but my team here are not this side are not doing so well. We got kicked out of the Gold Cup by America, which isn't great because America are not a great team, so they're a bit poor. The actual America squad are very good, but most of them players weren't playing, so it wasn't the best American
It's a
team.
shame
If
your
it was
cricket
like
team got.
Stefan, Pulisic, them, then I'd be like, okay, fair enough, but wasn't the best.
It's a shame your cricket team got pammed yesterday.
My cricket team will win the thing, don't worry.
No, you won't. If you're losing to Pakistan at home, you've got no hope, genuinely.
You know what? Accidents happen, innit?
Accidents happen, yeah.
But yeah, guys, if you remember, your comments might be prioritised just because that's what a member, that's part of the perks of being a member. So Nippon is in the building. He says hi. Big up Nippon. Malcolm's also in the building. Says big up the Mandem. Big up to you. Get your questions in, guys.
I wrote that, by the way.
Yeah, Lion said, been missing you guys. One sec. These spam accounts, man, you lot are bored.
Honestly, how quickly do they do these?
Yeah, get a job, man.
I think it's automatic, so they probably do something that makes it automatic, so it keeps on like. Because there's no way you can make like another email address in like 2 seconds.
I know. That's true. Umar says, big up you three, big up to you. Joanne says, big up everyone. One sec, let me just get to the comments first. Eddie says, hey guys, so Flawless actually resting for a change. He is human. Yeah, he's ditched us. Dan says, big up ladies and gents. Big up to you. Nathan says, big up you three. And where's Flawless at? Has man gone into early retirement? He's had enough. I don't know. I think it's Ryan that puts him off, to be honest. Dan,
that's what he'll say the next time, innit? That's what he will say.
Said
on his next team, he will blame me.
Ryan tonight. 1 minute. So before we get to that, Boswell Ellen, big up to him. He says top 4 predictions. Mine, 1 Man City, 2 Liverpool, 3 Chelsea, 4 Man United.
Lovely.
You know what? Like a lot of people have been asking this about predictions and stuff, and I think until the transfer window is closed, it's quite hard to say, because I think if Chelsea get a striker, that changes things a lot. If City get a striker, that puts us in a better position. If Liverpool sign someone, that could put them in a better position. And then Man United have already made quite a lot of good signings. If they get a DM, that probably puts them in a challenging position. So it's going to be interesting. I think technically any of the 4 could win it, depending on what happens in the transfer window.
United can't win it. They've not got the manager.
No, I don't think United can win it, but if they get a DM, they've got a chance of challenging, and you never know with the Prem. You never know. I don't think Ollie is good enough to finish above Klopp and Pep and
Tuchel.
I don't see it, but it could potentially happen. I would never rule it out. That's the only thing. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on what are your top 4 predictions right now? Because obviously we don't know what else is going to happen in the transfer window. It does look like City are going to get Grealish by the looks of things, but it isn't.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get onto this. Jan's always, with City, it's like, we spend a lot of money, but we never make record transfers and never have the record transfers and all that. Now all of a sudden, they're spending £100 million on Jack Grealish, or Liverpool pay 75 million for one player. And
me personally, I'm always very vocal about transfer fees and stuff like that, because I don't think many players are worth the money that they're quoted for. Like in reality, most players that we've bought, most players that you've bought, everything like that, it's one of them where you kind of think at the time, have we overpaid? If they do well, no one cares about the transfer fee anymore. It kind of gets forgotten about because it's like, oh, they cost this much. Like Van Dijk was so expensive, but then he came in and made Liverpool into what they are. So no one really cares. It gets brought up because obviously when you're comparing it to other fees, so like Maguire, when Maguire came in for 80, you're going to compare it like, oh, it's similar price. But when you look at what he's done, it gets forgotten about. Kind of the same with like De Bruyne. You don't really hear too many people bring up De Bruyne's fee because he's more than worth it. Do you know what I mean? But then you get other players like Benjamin Mendy. His price tag is constantly brought up because he hasn't been worth the 50 million that we paid for him. At the moment, he hasn't been. And it's the same with Paul Pogba for Man United. Yes, he's a very, very good player, but they paid £90 million for him, and he's not quite done that. And the same with Lukaku as well. Them sorts of players, their price tag gets brought up more because they've not fulfilled that price tag. We're seeing it with Partey and Pepe, at Arsenal at the moment, where people are saying, oh, Pepe was this much and he's not done what we expected. If Pepe was killing it for Arsenal and they got top 4, no one would bring up his fee. So it's kind of how it works. I think with Grealish, it is a lot of money. I'm not surprised that he's 100 million simply because he's Villa's best player. And Villa are not poor. They're not a club that need the money. No. So they can put whatever price tag they want on him. Yeah, and if you want him, you have to pay that. The other thing is, players like Maguire went for 80 million. So they're going to, if you put Maguire next to Grealish, obviously they play different positions, but Grealish is going to be more valuable in terms of the player that he is. On top of that, you've got like Declan Rice being quoted at 80 million. So I'm not surprised he's 100 million. Do I think it's a lot of money? Yes. Do we need to spend 100 million on him? No. But that seems to be what the club want. And I do think that Bernardo Silva is heading out. And I think that's why we've bought Grealish. We do need to have a certain amount of English players. We know what English tax is like. Ben White costs 50 million. I don't think it's that bad a signing for Arsenal, to be honest. But still 50 million for that player. If he was Spanish or Italian, we wouldn't be talking about 50 million for Ben White. That's just the reality of it. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's not, because it is. I can see why it's 100 million. It's not one of them where it's like, whoa, this is a shot. He's nowhere near that valuation, because if you look at the other players that are going for around 100 million, he's not too far off it. But, yeah, I think we'll have to see, obviously, what happens. Ryan's like, oh, he's come back now. Slightly mad himself. But yeah, I think I can see why, but it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, and we'll have to see whether he's worth it or not. He might come in and just be absolutely brilliant for Man City, and it'll be like, oh, so what? He costs 100 million. Or it could be he's not good enough and, it's a waste of money. We'll have to, time will tell, I suppose. There is no add-on, so it's literally is 100 million. And that's it. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the top 4 though?
For me, on Boswell's comment, I'd just swap Liverpool and Chelsea. I think at the moment with the squads, I think we finished 3rd and they finished 2nd, to be fair. I think City at the moment still win it for me.
What do you think, Eleanor?
I think it's going to be close between City and Chelsea. I genuinely think it could. I'm not saying City can't win it, because we all know City always have the quality. But I do think Chelsea might make it a tighter race. I don't know. I think Liverpool still have a bit to go in terms. I know you've got people coming back from injury, and things could start really well. But I just think that Chelsea are building such a good team, and now they're going to have a full season under Tuchel. I just see it could go really well for them, especially if they do make signings as well. So I think it's going to be. I do think City will still win it, but I do think Chelsea will be second, Liverpool third, and I guess United fourth. It won't be us. that's for sure. So, which is a very depressing time, but it won't be us. So I guess I guess United. But Ollie taxes heavy, as Flawless would know. So you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of the window, I think Man United have had the best window so far. I think they've had a good window. But like you say, Ollie.
Oh, United, and United have had a great window.
Yeah.
But they've signed some great players. So Ollie technically has no excuses. But
yeah.
I just think in terms of actual a manager that's going to win you the title, I don't see it being, I just don't see it being them. So I just think that it's going to be, it's even hard. If he's put the pressure on when he's nearly getting sacked, he does well. But other than that, I'm not sure if he could do like over a period of time. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, he's got a great squad. There's no denying Ollie's got a great squad at the moment.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I think the pressure's going to be on him so much now. Because like you say, he's not got the excuses that he normally has. I've not been backed or whatever he wants to say.
Yeah.
And it's like the fans are going to be back in the stadium, which we haven't been in for a while. And I think their fans are going to be on his case big time. And if he doesn't win the league or even look like he's going to challenge, them fans are going to be on his neck. And I don't think Man United are going to... I don't think they're going to sell him. I think, sack him. I think they're going to keep him. So it's one of them. I think the pressure's going to be on. That could maybe affect the players, though. If fans start getting onto Ollie, the players might start thinking, maybe we can't win the league under this guy, and it can affect them. So who knows? I agree with you. I think if Chelsea make the signings that I think they might make, I think Chelsea win it, because one, it's harder to retain it, and two, I just think they'll get some of the players that they bought last year will get better this season. Yeah. So I think they're going to be tough to beat. Plus, they've got no pressure in the Champions League because they've just won it. So they can go into the Prem. Yeah, and they can just focus on the Prem every week. Yeah. Prem, prioritize the Prem.
And imagine if they win that back-to-back, like Champions League and the Prem, that people will love that in his first 2 seasons. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like coming in mid-season, first full season winning the league. It is possible. Obviously, Pep is Pep and City is City. So he's not got an easy way to it. But if he does do it, I will obviously rate him as well as the team, because he's got a super team. But Frank also had a super team and couldn't do anything with it. So yeah, I do really rate Tuchel as a manager, to be fair. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I do think he should be winning the league. If you win the Champions League, the next step is the league. So he should be winning it. I do think City will have, even though they will fight in all 4 competitions, they will want to win the Champions League more, simply because they haven't won it yet and they got so close. So I think City will kind of take the Champions League a bit more seriously, kind of like we did last season. We were very good in the Champions League all the way through to the final, to be honest. It was only the final where we were shit. The rest of the tournament were pretty good.
Yeah.
Didn't really put a foot wrong in the whole competition. So it's one of them. I think City will do the same. Hopefully.
Games, like you lot were brilliant.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I think for that reason, I think Chelsea could win it. But as it stands, if they don't make any signings, I think it will be City. Second, probably Chelsea, because I think they have to challenge for the title now. Liverpool probably third, and Man United fourth. So yeah, I agree with the order. I think you guys said anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of them. I don't know. It's there was a question about Harry Potter that I saw. Oh, before I say that, Samuel said, if I was Jurgen, I would think about packing my bags and leaving Liverpool and staying at home because FSG are more than FSG and the Glazers and the Cronkies.
Oh yeah, I said I wouldn't blame Klopp if he left. To be fair, like I'd understand it completely. Like if I was him, I would probably leave if they're not backing me because I'd be like, after all I've done for the club, I at least deserve to be back. And if you're not backing me, why should I show ambition and keep doing this when you're not? The people who are employing me are not backing me when I've done when I've shown that I can do that I can do it, and this squad needs rebuilding now. We can't win the league or Champions League with this squad anymore. Give me the money. I've already proved that I can do it. So let me rebuild another team and back me. And if they're not letting him do that, then what's the point of him staying? He's only ruining his own. He's only going to ruin his own reputation by doing that because Klopp's got such a high reputation. But you've seen this season, because we didn't have a great season this season, especially after just winning the title. You know, Klopp was getting criticism, and he was at fault for things this season, but a lot of it was beyond his control. He didn't have the squad to compete with City this season and the injuries. So if you think that after if this squad can't win anything because it's not a good enough squad and we haven't got squad depth, so if we don't win anything next season like a league or a Champions League, then he's just going to get more criticism and more criticism and people slandering him, his reputation going down a bit more down again. So why should he risk his reputation getting ruined because FSG won't back him when he deserves to be back? So, and it's not as if he's like a Liverpool fan either. Like it's not as if he grew up as a Liverpool fan. He's not got massive loyalty. He don't love Liverpool like I love Liverpool. Like, Saint loves Liverpool. All these guys, it's he didn't grow up a Liverpool fan. So why should he risk his reputation for the club? If we're not backing him, then I couldn't blame him if he wanted to leave. I'd probably leave if I was in his position as well.
Yeah. I think as well, like, it's like I was talking on the stream before and we were talking about City and I was saying like some of the guys that were United fans and they were saying like City's ambition at the start of every season is like to win the treble. If we don't win the treble, it's like, the season's not been that good. Like when you like tell people to rate Man City's season last year, no one's giving him 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Like it's all lower than that. And it's any other team wins the league and a cup. That's a brilliant season. Do you know what I mean? So City have kind of set these high standards now where if we don't win the league, it's a failure. You know what I mean? The only thing that would not make that season a failure is if we won the Champions League. And if we won the Champions League on its own, people would say, what happened in the league? So it's like there's always going to be something to kind of criticize Man City for. And it's like Liverpool, because Liverpool did so well under Klopp, the standards at Liverpool are now going to be higher naturally. So,
but not with the owners, that's the problem.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So from your fans, and like, because the fans are the ones that are going to put the pressure on him, really, because they're going to be the ones questioning him. And it's like, and even the players.
Actually, no, I think our fans, because they know the situation and because we're so behind Klopp and know what he's done.
Yeah.
We can't. Obviously, we've criticised him for things that he has been at fault for. Because I'm not going to say he's been perfect this season. He's made mistakes. He fucked up the Real Madrid first leg, for example. That was on him. But at the same time, how's he expected to compete with City and Chelsea? All right. So let's say you're Jurgen Klopp, right? I think Klopp is a victim of his own success at Liverpool in terms of you look at the players that he's brought, the likes of an £8 million left back from a relegated team in Robertson, Gini Wijnaldum from relegated Newcastle, all these players, not superstars, but has made them into, big players and has won 2 trophies with them. Now the owners are thinking, well,
why he doesn't
do that? Why can't he do it again? But at the same time, how do people expect us to compete when City are being linked with Jack Grealish, Chelsea are being linked with Erling Haaland, and we're being linked with Jared Bowen? Like, there's only so much you can do at the end of the day, really. You can't be pulling off all these great signings, getting all these players in like Jared Bowen and these guys are making them into world beaters. It's not sustainable enough to last over such a long period of time. So it's like,
but it's like you say, because he has done
because
that
he
before,
did it, they expect
they're
him to be
saying
able to do it
now, do
again
it
and
again.
again.
Yeah,
But
that's
then you
what they
can't.
expect.
I'm sorry, you're not gonna. Yeah, but exactly, I completely agree. But you're not gonna compete with a City team that are buying Jack Grealish and are already so stacked anyway. And Chelsea are probably going to get Haaland and I've got a stacked squad anyway. And we're getting Jared Bowen. And we still got Origi at the club. This is our squad depth, you know?
But
Origi.
the thing is, though, because, like, I'm not being funny, but from an outsider looking in, like, you could see, and this is what I was saying for quite a while, is like, if Liverpool get some injuries, they'll struggle because you have a very, very good team, but not a brilliant squad. And that's been like very, very obvious to everyone. And it's like, for the owners not to see that, it's like, it's bizarre. Do you know what I mean? Because like our owners and the people that are running the club are seeing that we need Grealish. I wouldn't necessarily think we need Grealish, right?
I don't think you're in desperate need of him. Your owners are showing ambition. You're just adding a world-class
they're
player
just
to your
adding
team.
to it. Because what
You're
they've
adding
said,
extra quality.
But what they've said, is when you win the league, you have to add to the team. Because let's be honest, right? Everyone knows Man City are very predictable. Like I've always said, I can go into a City game and know exactly what's going to happen. And it's like, if I can do that, so can Tuchel, so can Klopp, so can Ollie. And it's like, by adding Grealish, okay, Grealish, we know what Grealish can do. But it's like, it just adds a different element to City's game. So you might not necessarily know what you're going to get. And it's like, that's what you do to keep winning. Like, that's what the best managers do. And with Jurgen, he's not really getting that because FSG are kind of saying, oh, well, just work with what you've got. So I agree with you. I think it's because he's done it before. They're basically saying,
doing it again.
Well, do it again. And, you know, and it's just, I think it is going to ruin his legacy if he has to do that because he's probably not going to have the success that a Liverpool football club.
But it was kind of like what happened at Dortmund in a way because obviously he built such a good side at Dortmund at first that won back-to-back Bundesliga, got to a Champions League final. You had all these Lewandowski's, Royce, Hummels, Kagawa, all these guys who he brought in. But then he loses these players. He lost Lewandowski, he lost Goetze, he lost Kagawa, he lost Hummels. A lot of his key players, a lot of them to Bayern Munich as well. And then, you know, obviously he wasn't going to win the league after that because, by the way, he was selling those players to Bayern Munich, who were their direct rivals as well. So, like, how was he expect? So the same kind of thing happened at Dortmund. And what happened at Dortmund? He left eventually. And, you know, I don't want Klopp to leave, but I can't blame him if he does because the same thing could be happening again, you know, where, you know, and you look at his last season at Dortmund, which didn't go well, in it. Like, people say he almost got relegated that season. He didn't, in it. He got 7th in the end, like. He didn't almost get relegated. That's a myth. But, like, he had a bad season his last season because all of his best players had got sold and they didn't replace them properly. Because I guess, I don't know if what their owners are like, but clearly they weren't going to back him properly like they should have done. And this is a good comment as well. Ahmed says, United signing balls, Liverpool collapsing. What you have to say, right? United have got a much better squad than us. You look at their depth in attacking areas compared to ours is a joke. But the problem is the managers. We've got the managers. They haven't. If you swap those managers, United would probably win the league. We have to be honest. They'd come very, very close at least to winning the league. They'd probably get close to winning the Champions League, get far, and we'd probably be Arsenal position, I'd say. I genuinely think that with Ollie in charge of our squad, we'd be Arsenal position if we're lucky. Because it's not like we got that much individual brilliance in our team. We ain't got a Paul Pogba in midfield who's going to whip in one from 30 yards out bottom corner to win a game. You know, it's not like we got a great squad depth. So, you know, like if Ollie was in charge of this squad that we've got, we're down to Arsenal level. That's the thing. That's what a difference a manager can make, you know. It's crazy.
That's the thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he leaves though, but he might have to if they continue to kind of not back him, because I think the problem with Liverpool as well that you've got now is a lot of your players are like hitting 30 as well. So it's not a case of should we replace them? You need to start replacing them. Do you know what I mean? City had that problem. Like everyone talks about how when Pep came in, he inherited this fantastic Man City side that were winning the league every year.
But you know what?
It wasn't really the case. Don't get me wrong, he still inherited a very good team, but our average age of our squad was like 30. So it's like that team can't last too much longer. So when he came in, he had to start replacing everyone. That's why he bought a lot of players like...
You know what it is, yeah?
Players, you know what I mean?
I agree with you on that. A lot of our players are getting older and do need to start being replaced. But this is where I start to blame our fan base as well now. Because I'll give you an example. Jordan Henderson, 31 years old, injury prone, not a great player either. He's not anything amazing. But because of the... And, you know, obviously FSG are, you know, debating whether to give him a contract. I personally would sell him because 31 injury prone. I'm not into this sentimental bullshit like all these Liverpool fans are. But obviously because the Liverpool fans are so sentimental, they're desperate to keep him. But these are the players that we should actually be letting go. Because like I said, he's old. He's getting so many injuries now. So he's never fully fit. You know, he's injured for pretty much all the whole of the second half of the season last season. He's not a great player either. And yeah, he might be influential in the dressing room and shouts a lot on the pitch, but like if you'd want to do that, keep him as like part of the backroom staff or something, like if you're that concerned about that. Like at the end of the day, this is where our fan base has to take blame for this as well, because he'll probably get a new contract because the fans will probably kick off on Twitter or kick off at the club. Whereas actually we should be selling these types of players now, I'm afraid. Sorry, Liverpool fans, but these are the types of players we should be selling. No, we should. He's not great, is he? Really, he's not an amazing player. He's not like a Van Dijk who, if he was 31, I still want to keep him because he's such a good player. He's the best centre back in the league for me. Jordan Henderson ain't one of the best midfielders in the Premier League or the world, is he? No matter what our fan base says, he's not in it. So like, and he's injury prone 31. Like, he's not going to get any better. So sell him. This is where our fans have to take blame for this as well, because they're kicking off and want desperate to keep him. Like, if our owners get rid of Jordan Henderson, I'll big him up, because like these are the types of players we should be moving on now.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It seems to be stalling at the moment, so who knows? He might sign a new contract.
I think he will. That's the thing, because I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the club to give the contract to the captain. Yeah. And this is where I blame our fan base now if that happens.
Yeah.
I don't blame the owners for that. I blame the fan base for that if Henderson signs a contract.
Yeah. Joanne says, which Harry Potter movie is the best one in your opinion? Start with you, Ellen.
I'd say the fourth one. Sorry, Ellen.
The fourth one.
I'd say the fourth one's my favourite, yeah.
I really love Prisoner of Azkaban. I just think it's so good. I love the time travel element. But I also really love that book. So, yeah.
Have you read all the books?
Yeah, I've read all the books. Yeah. I've seen Cursed Child in theatre as well.
Have you seen it in theatre? I haven't watched that in theatre. I've only read the book.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've read it. Yeah, like I'm a big Potter fan. Like when I went Orlando, like I bought like a wand and everything, and it's like interactive. So like you go up to things and you can actually move things with your wand. It's so cool.
Oh
like,
my
god! I paid the extra for the interactive one. Like it was worth it. So yeah, big Potter fan. I'm gonna go number 3 because I really love Prisoner of Azkaban, but the fourth Goblet of Fire is really good as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I like, in terms of the film, number 3 was always my favourite. It's the one that I've watched the most. But then obviously the latter ones I haven't really watched too many times. I've not like watched them like time and time again. But I think as it kind of gets on, because the fourth one is not really about school, it's all about the cup, the Triwizard thing. Yeah. I quite like the one where they go to the World Cup for the Quidditch.
Yeah, that was the fourth one.
Quite a nice film.
That was the fourth one, yeah.
Is it the fourth one as well? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
that
went
one,
right at the beginning, yeah.
I also
yeah,
love
I quite like it, but it's so much better in the book. Like, because the fourth book is so big, it's like they've got to fit it into a film,
I
and
think
it's
the
just
fifth one
like,
was the biggest
book
book.
is
I think the fifth
insane.
one was the biggest.
yeah. Well, they were all from the fourth one. The books are like that big every time.
Yeah,
Like,
the
they
first
can't
three were
fit it
kind
all
of
in.
the first three books were kind of like a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And then from the fourth ones they got bigger. Like,
I
yeah.
really like Half-Blood Prince as well.
I didn't like that's my least favourite one actually.
Really? I love Snape, so I love stories about Snape.
Yeah, I actually thought that was my least favourite one, to be fair.
Oh, Sectum Central, I love it.
Sectum Sempra.
Yeah, I just like the ones where it's kind of like, because in the books they talk about school a lot and like what's going on and all this different stuff, whereas in the films, because they don't have enough time, it's like it's not really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all focused on the one thing, and it's.
Yeah.
I prefer the books. Like the books are 100 times better than the films.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I was rereading in the first lockdown when I was locked up for 3 months, I was rereading the books. And like, there's so much stuff that I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Like,
yeah, because they're not in the films.
Yeah, because you know the which one is it? Is it the fifth one? I can't remember where he's in the park with. It's the one that we watched.
Yeah, beginning with Dudley.
Yeah, and it's got
and the Dementors come.
Yeah, Mrs. Fig or whatever she's called.
Yeah, Mrs.
And
Fig.
it's like in the books they talk about like how he used to go and stay there every summer and how like he didn't know she was a squib and all that stuff, and like all of that is just missing out the films. Like, and when she comes
in the
like when she comes, they don't even like really explain it, and it's kind of like if you've not read the book, you would just think she's some random old lady,
random person.
Yeah, it's just like I don't like stuff like that. I think the books are just 10 times better.
10 times better. Agreed.
Yeah, I think the books are better still. Yeah.
Yeah, my sister's one of them that's not read the books, but she's seen the films, and it's like that's just dead. Like I got the fourth book from my auntie for like Christmas one year, and I read the first like chapter. So obviously the fourth book starts by saying about, you know, the dream that he has about the snake.
Yeah,
and that's like the dream that he has, and it's in that house, the Riddle house and all this. And that's what the book starts with. So when I started reading it, I was like, what the hell is this book? Like, it just didn't make any sense to me, because obviously it's like partway through. So I just like didn't read it, because obviously it's some big old book. So I didn't read it. And then my cousin said to me, oh, you need to read the first one. So I got the first book and I read the first book, and oh my God, I was hooked. I went and bought the second and third, then I read the fourth. Then at that time, the fifth book wasn't out yet. It was just 1 to 4. And then it came out in the cinema, and I went to see the first film. And then obviously after that, they brought out 5, 6 and all the others. But I used to wait till it came out and then get it. And then when I went on holiday, because it used to come out like before the summer, I just read it when I'm on holiday and stuff like that. But yeah, I loved Harry Potter. Is definitely my favorite books ever.
100%.
Like, the only other books, because I used to read a lot of abuse books. Like, I'm a weirdo. So like I used to read like, you know, A Child Called It and all of them. And like, yeah, I've got so many. Like I had a stack of books like this that was all like.
I used to read a lot of books. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
don't read any now, but I used to read a lot.
They're like, there was a guy that got abused. He went to you know, one of them church ran like boarding schools, and they used to like sexually abuse all the boys. I read one about that. There was a girl and her dad used to sexually abuse her. There's so many like books that I read, and then other types of abuse as well. That was my thing when I was younger, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a social worker. So I used to read all them books. So like, yeah, but it's one of them. But yeah, I like Harry Potter. It's actually good. Eddie says, question, which managers do you think will underperform and get sacked next season?
Arteta, he'll get sacked, I think. I think I don't know about Ollie. You know, uh,
I
I
don't think
don't
Ollie
know
will.
if Ollie goes. He'll go at the end of the season. I still think Ollie will last a full season. To be fair, I think he will because United take time sacking their managers anyway. So I think, whereas Arteta will get sacked by around Christmas, I reckon, because at least Ollie has individual brilliance to bail him out. Arteta don't have that still. I'm trying to look through the teams right now. I don't even know who Watford's manager is, but I reckon he might get sacked because they always do it. So I don't even know who their manager is. Steve Bruce signed a new contract, I heard, to be fair.
3 years.
I don't know about that, but yeah. Other than that, maybe Patrick Vieira might be under pressure at Palace, maybe. Other than that, I think a lot of managers are quite safe, to be fair. You just never know what might happen. Hasenhüttl might be in a bit of danger because of the way it ended for Southampton last season. He might be under a lot of pressure. Even though I rate him as a manager, he might be under pressure, especially if he has like another massive battering in a game. He's had like 2 9-0s. If he gets like a 5 or 6-0, he could be under pressure still. So
I
yeah,
think from where they were last season to where they ended up, it was a massive drop. Because I remember, like, after quite a month or two in, they
I
were
remember
at the top of the league.
They beat us at around like early January. They beat us, and then ever since then it went down for them. They went on like a really bad run.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's under a lot of pressure, I think.
Yeah, I think he it will depend on him next season. I don't know with managers because it's like the clubs that enjoy sacking managers. Obviously, like I can't see Tuchel being sacked. I can't
You
see
know
it.
what? It wouldn't surprise me if
Even,
Chelsea did something mad, but I think Chelsea will actually do well. So
yeah, I
can't see him
can't see him being sacked. The only way he would be sacked is if
they're out of a
they
title
were
race.
terrible. Yeah, they go out the title race early, and they go out the Champions League in the group, and they get knocked
it's
out.
not going to happen. In all seriousness, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's the only way. I know they have sacked managers in the past, but I don't think they're going to sack him.
Because obviously they sacked Di Matteo 3 months after he won Champions League, but Tuchel's better than Di Matteo in it. So I think Chelsea will be all right.
And I think
Tuchel will be all right.
Yeah, I don't see Tuchel going, to be honest. They wouldn't have even given him time to build his own team, like his own players. Do you know what I mean? So I can't see him getting sacked. City won't sack Pep. I don't think it's.
You're not sacking Pep.
So I think everyone else is pretty safe. I don't think Spurs will sack another manager.
I don't think you will.
I know Watford have sacked quite a few managers.
That's why I said I don't even know who Watford's manager is, but they sack theirs all the time. Watford don't mess around, to be fair to them.
It does depend on how bad we're doing, though. Because if there's fans back and we're playing awful football and we're getting awful results, the fans are going to go mad because it will be like it's Jose all over again.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of PTSD there. So I think that that there could, he could be under pressure. It does depend on. To be honest, I don't think any Spurs fans sitting there thinking we're going to make top 4 or do a madness and win something. We just want to enjoy our club again and enjoy football. And I think if the football's bad and we're awful, then he'll be under pressure. But if he results to more of an attacking play and we're doing all right, I think he'll be fine. I don't think Ollie's under much pressure. Arteta maybe. Again, he got knocked out of absolutely everything. Didn't make a Europe spot. Knocked out of everything. Didn't win anything. Arteta could be under pressure, but they seem to stick by him. So the fans don't.
I mean, the fact that they have stuck by Arteta, if Arsenal were a serious club, they would have sacked Arteta ages ago, to be fair.
100%,
they would have sacked him at around Christmas when they were losing all those home games. Would have sacked him after they got knocked out of Europa League. Listen, I don't know how he stayed in a job after he got knocked out of Europa.
Yeah, exactly. Would Chelsea allow that? Roman wouldn't allow that. like even Tottenham wouldn't allow that. I mean, to that extent. I just think, yeah, I get it that you feel like he needs time, but they just waited so long. That is actually quite funny. Yeah, how long they waited.
But I do think that Arteta will get sacked because Arsenal just not good in it. They're just not good. Like, it's not as if they're gonna do anything. Like, they're not gonna do anything, and the pressure will get too much. There'll be fans back in the stadium, so they'll be getting booed at a lot of matches probably. So I think Arteta will be gone by Christmas. It'll probably be similar to what happened with Emery, to be fair.
Yeah, it could be. That's the thing. It really could be.
It's helped Arteta. He's not had fans in the stadium this season. In the last season, if they had, I think he would have probably gone. To be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if Arsenal was serious, they would sack Arteta. To be fair, but they're not gonna yet. They will eventually. Any more questions, people?
Yeah, I think I've lost quite a few.
Yeah, comments. So many comments, man.
So I'm up to Daniel, where he says Haaland's family are future ballers. Yeah, here he's got a cousin who's mashing it up.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. You know, you do get families where like a lot of them are good at football because it's like Redknapp's and Lampard are related, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then you've got like Sean Wright Phillips, obviously Ian Wright, you know, and his brother, and then their kid, Sean Wright Phillips' son, played for Man City. So that family's like got 3 generations. I don't know if you know, but Tommy Doyle at Man City, both of his granddads played for Man City. So they were teammates, and obviously one daughter married the son. And yeah, they had a kid together and he plays for Man City. So yeah, you do get families where it's like they're just a lot of footballers. And then others like mine where there's just no one plays football in my family because we're all girls, pretty much. Yeah. Even though one of my cousins used to play for Man City, but he wasn't like a close cousin. Like, I didn't really know him like that. He's, I don't know, some distant family member. City, Eddie says City have proper hunger. I agree. They aim for the stars and at least land on the moon. Yeah, the expectations for City are probably too high. I think Pep has really set himself high standards, you know, because even when we win the league, like, people are complaining, you know, it's just, yeah, it's a bit mad. It's a bit mad. That's why I've said that I actually predicted City would have a disappointing season this year. And I don't mean that in like, we're going to be absolutely terrible. I just think it's one of them things where, because the standards are so high, if we don't go and win the Champions League now, it's going to be seen as, oh, well, you know, 2 years in a row, you didn't win it. You know, if we get to another final, it'll be even worse because it'll be you lost back-to-back finals. So it probably would look better if we went out earlier in the Champions League than get to another final and not win, if that makes sense. The league, if we don't win it, it'll be disappointing. So, yeah, I think we could have a disappointing season next year, to be honest. Daniel says, Man City had a better season even though we won the Champions League. Yeah, I think I think overall City were definitely the best team. You know, we were in all 4 competitions till late. We went out of the league, the FA Cup, obviously in the latter stages, and it was only Chelsea and Leicester that got further. So that wasn't a bad FA Cup run, I suppose. The league. I
think if Chelsea had won the FA Cup alongside the Champions League, I think Chelsea would have had the better season.
Yeah.
But because City won the league and also won the League Cup 2 trophies, and one of them was a league. Yeah. I'd say City. If you would have asked me,
because it was like one major, one
cup side piece.
Whereas
if you'd have asked me what season I would have rather had, I would, as a Liverpool fan, I would have picked City's.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like. If a Chelsea fan said they had a better season, I'd completely understand that, because winning a Champions League is very, very big. Like, is a very big thing.
Yeah, I think it's one of them, innit? Because if we have the season that Chelsea had next season and we win the Champions League, but we scrape top 4 and we lose the FA Cup final, I'd be saying City should have done better in that season, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if Chelsea go and win the League Cup and the league this year, I probably wouldn't be saying Chelsea should have had a better season, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's just one of them. It depends on your preference as well. Boswell says the fans won't question Klopp. I didn't mean they'll question him as in they'll want him out or anything like that. I just meant, you know, when fans are in the stadium and like they're getting pissed because they're going out of like the Champions League or they're going out of, you know, a league title race and stuff like that. The fans get on any manager's case. Like fans get on.
Yeah, because.
Case. And it's not because they don't rate Pep. It's just because as a fan, you want your team to do well, if that makes sense.
I mean, the thing is, when you're at a game or when you're watching your team play and you lose, the first thing you're going to say is, your first reaction isn't going to be, you olders are pricks. You're going to be looking at either a player or the manager, the people who are in charge of what's going on the pitch at the end. It's just natural. But when, you know, you go home and you deep it a bit of a think, and then after you think for a bit, then it's like the owners are to kind of blame a lot more. The owners have to take a lot to blame. Don't get me wrong, like Klopp, for certain times this season, has to take blame for certain stuff. Like that Real Madrid first leg, he was to blame for that because he picked the wrong lineup, and he was to blame for that. I accept that, but at the end of the day, the fact he managed to get third with the back two of Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, to me, deserves credit, in my opinion.
I think it's just the manager always takes. It's like when they have a decision to make between the players and like the players don't like the manager. It's easier to sack the manager than it is to get rid of 5 or 6 players. If that makes sense, it's easier. So even though the manager might not even be in the wrong, it might be the players. It's easier to sack the manager than upset. Because I know when Mancini fell out with a lot of our players, it was easier to sack Mancini than it would have been to say, okay, Yaya Toure, you're not happy, get out. Okay, I don't know, Vincent Kompany, you're not happy, get out. Like, you can't really do that. It's easier to sack Mancini. You know what I mean?
Every Spurs fan listening, take that and use that as to why I wanted Jose out and not 11 players.
It's true. You can't
do what you wanted us to do at that time, but he was still a problem. Not the whole problem, but one of the problems. You eliminate one of the problems that you can. He was a problem. Maybe not the whole thing, but we'll get to the rest of these comments that I really want to address, but I'll address them later.
It's fine. That's the way it goes, though. It's like, to be honest, like from what I heard about Mancini, because I love Mancini, but what I heard was like, kind of, you know, Italians, like the way they are, can be quite hot-headed and stuff like that.
I wanted Mancini, so.
Well, like he apparently, like if City lost, he would literally just go home. He wouldn't go to the dressing room. He wouldn't address the players. He'd just go home after the game and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a bit mad because like even though it's like he's angry, it's kind of like your job is to address the players, win, lose or draw. You can't be like, okay, I'm not happy, I'm going home. I mean,
there was rumors that Poch either kept the players back after the 7-2 or left. And if he had left, I would have been like, oh my God, like, what are you, like, honestly, like, what are you doing? So I get that as in you can't just leave. Like, you're still responsible as to what's going on. So.
And the thing is, if it is the players, so say you put out the perfect lineup, because I've seen Pep do it before. I've seen Pep put out a perfectly good team to beat, you know, the tactics are fine and everything like that, and the players are just shit, miss open goals and stuff like that. And in them sort of games, it's like, it's not on the manager that, it's on the players, but it's like your job as a manager is to go into the dressing room and be like, you know, what happened, guys, blah, blah, blah. And basically, I think with Man City, what I heard is that they all get like a little iPad and it shows their performance and what they did wrong. And they can kind of watch highlights and see things that they should have done better and that sort of stuff. Like, that's what you're there to do. So if you're going home, it's not great. I think some of the youth players were saying that he didn't like ever go and watch them and stuff like that. Like, I know Pep does, and I know Pellegrini did. They go and like watch the youth players and like address them and stuff. And apparently he didn't really do that. And I love Mancini, but it's kind of like, if you're not doing what you're there to do,
yeah,
there's not really much of a choice. And the players boycotted in the end, because that FA Cup final, I've never seen anything like it. They weren't even trying to score. Like, no one even tried to take a shot. And they're playing Wigan. It's not like they're playing prime Barcelona. Like, it was awful. It was awful. But it is what it is. We'll just have to see. Ahmed said he'd take a Champions League over a Premier League if I was a Chelsea fan, to be fair. I'd take winning a third over the league, to be honest, but the league would be good too. Yeah, it just depends. Like, if Chelsea get a third, they put themselves on the same level as Man United.
Then imagine if you gave Chelsea a choice of the league or Champions League, I could understand them saying Champions League this year. Imagine retaining the Champions League. They'd retain it.
But the thing is, if they win the league, they've got the same amount as City, right? They're probably, I think, like, still quite a few behind Everton, because Everton are on 9. So, and then a few behind Arsenal still, because Arsenal are on like 13 or whatever it is. So it's kind of like, if they win a Champions League, that puts them behind Liverpool, joint second place with Man United. And if we're being honest, I think Chelsea would probably win it again more before Man United win it again.
Yeah.
So they know they could potentially overtake Man United in Europe, you know, because they already have other trophies like the Europa League and, you know, what Man United have. I think they have more than Man United, other European trophies. So, yeah, it puts them on a different kind of level. It means if City go and win it, because, like, the thing is, if we'd have won the Champions League last year, us and Chelsea would be on the same level. So it's who wins it next. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now it's like they put themselves ahead. If they win it again, it puts them one more ahead. It means that it's very difficult for someone like City to come in and like get 4. Like, it's be very difficult. So yeah, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm saying the Champions League too, to be honest. If I'm a City fan, I mean, we do need the Champions League. I'd probably take that too, but I think I'd want both. I'm greedy. I think I want both.
Big up Peter, man. My G. Big up the channel, especially little bro. Big up my guy Peter, you know.
I just want something. So, yeah, but cheers to that, everyone. I want both. I'm just like, give me something. Anything. The Conference League. The League Cup. Anything. Just give me something, please. That's all
Eleanor, did you celebrate when you guys won the Audi Cup?
I was on holiday, living life, but like I probably should have, because I'm not going to see anyone lift a trophy anytime soon, so I actually regret not.
Matthew said, which teams do you think will start the season well and which teams will start poorly?
I think Arsenal will start poorly. I think Spurs could make like a decent start. Do you get what I mean? I think they could make a decent.
No, wait. Our first game's against City.
Oh yeah, you're fucked in it. Yeah, Spurs.
We haven't ever scored a goal at your stadium, so
I mean,
we've never won there.
We sold our best defender, and it doesn't look like we're getting our replacement. So you got Dyer and Sanchez to beat, and you already made Sanchez face plant. So I think you'll be all right.
I think Chelsea could be an interesting one because their running is actually very hard to start with. They got some very tough away games.
Hard games.
I think if Chelsea get off to I think Chelsea's either going to go one of two ways, and I think Chelsea will be a very interesting one. I think we can make a decent start. We made a decent start to the season last season, to be fair. Obviously we had the 7-2 to Villa, but apart from that, we were winning pretty much most of our games at the start of the season. I think we only lost one game in the first half of the season, and that was a Villa game. We were drawing a lot away from home, but we were winning all our home games, and we were top at Christmas. So we made a decent start. It's second mid-seasons, we just fucked up in it, like fucked up. The crazy thing is, our start to the season wasn't too bad. Our end to the season was very good.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Just our middle was absolutely a shambles, innit? Like, yeah.
We kind of had the opposite. We won
Your
our
middle
first
was
game,
amazing, yeah.
but then we were awful. Then the middle was amazing, and then the end was pretty.
Yeah, yours was the opposite because
okay.
I just remember us losing all the home games we were losing, and then you lot just winning every single game at that time.
We were amazing in the middle. But that's what I mean. Like,
amazing.
Last season was a weird season because no one was brilliant from start to end. Like
It's
everyone.
weird, yeah, because even City didn't like.
I'm just gonna get.
City were very good and the best team, but it weren't like the City team of 2 years ago, for example.
No,
like it weren't like that, innit?
Because on paper, if you said to someone, "Okay, win the league cup, get to the FA Cup semi-final, and get to the Champions League final, or any of our other seasons," you'd probably say, "Well, that's one of the best because it shows you're strong in all 4 competitions." So, but I don't think Man City, and this is why I was saying we could have won the quadruple in a okay season. But when I was on the stream before, what the United fans that I was on with were actually saying was that usually when you win the Champions League, you're not the best in the league. That tends to be the case. Like once or twice it's happened, like with Liverpool when you won it, and with Man United a few times they won it. But even then, it's about prioritizing the competitions. And even like he was saying, even when they did it, like there was times where they didn't do as well in the Champions League when they were very good in the league and vice versa. So it's one of them. I think it is hard to juggle both. And I think maybe because we weren't as good in the league, that's why we were better in the Champions League. And I don't know, like, it's a weird one. It's a bit strange. So we could do that again next season. That's the thing. We could be okay in the league. The problem is, last season when we were okay in the league, we managed to win it. Whereas next season, that won't be the case. If we're not great in the league, we won't win it. So
you know what this? Yeah, I agree. This is an interesting comment actually because I think they're both shit, innit? I think they're both shit, but at the same time, with Arteta,
I agree with
there's
that.
a little bit of potential in there, I feel, at times, where you've seen sometimes when he's been there, Arsenal, there are times when they have put together really good patterns of play at times where you can see there's times when he's trying to do something, and I definitely think he's a better coach than Ollie. Ollie's just got no coaching ability about him. And at the same time, Arteta's only been managing for like a year, just over a year, whereas Ollie's been managing for like 12 years.
But this is the thing, though, because a lot of United fans are saying this season they can't see them winning the league because obviously they think it's going to be City, Chelsea, or Liverpool, right? So they can't see themselves winning the league, but they want to win a cup, right? The only cups that are available are the Champions League, which, let's be honest, they're not going to win that. The Europa League, that means they've failed somewhere because they start off in the Champions League. So that's not what they want to win, ideally at the start of the season. Then there's the FA Cup or the League Cup. So obviously out of them two, the FA Cup is the better trophy. So if Ollie wins the FA Cup, he's matched what Arteta's done. But if you look at Arteta, right? Arteta, one, he's quite new to management.
You have to look at the quality of players. That's the biggest thing as well.
The squad that Ollie has is a lot better than the squad that Arteta
has. 100. And he spent a lot more money than what Arteta has.
Yeah. So if he can win the FA Cup with Arsenal, why can't Ollie win the FA Cup with United? And you have to look at it like that. And, you know, like, it's always amazing when you measure, because if you think about it, Ollie, Klopp and Pep pretty much started managing around the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, if you look at what Pep's done in his career and what Ollie's done in his career, it's complete opposite sides of the spectrum, and it's been about the same time. And I think with Ollie, like, a lot of people kind of make excuses for him, like he's a new manager. And it's like, he's not. He's an experienced manager. He's been managing almost as long as Pep. And it's like, why? Or it might even be longer than Pep. I don't even know. I think it's because I think they've both done 12 years, because I think Pep took a year out. So it's about the same amount of time. And it's like, you wouldn't make excuses for Pep saying, oh, well, he's not been a manager that long, because it feels like he's been a manager for a very long time. But it's the same with Ollie. And like even Arteta doesn't get them excuses. Like, people don't make them excuses for Arteta. So I think he is better than Ollie. I think
he is, but again, it's not.
Squad.
It's not saying much.
Yeah, if
like, I think they're both shit.
Yeah, I think, but if he can win the FA Cup with Arsenal, maybe with better players he could do it. And I say maybe because sometimes managers, you think, oh, if they have the best players, they would be 10 times better, but it doesn't always work out that way, which I think we're seeing at PSG right now. No offense, Eleanor. But it's kind of like everyone was like, if he had the better squad, he would win everything. And he's got a better squad.
I think Poch will do well. I wouldn't take notice about this French Community Shield result they had today. I don't mean shit in it. Like,
no, I'm not saying it does, and I actually rate Pochettino. What I'm saying is, if I'd have said to you when he was at Tottenham, would he win this trophy that they win every year? Everyone would have said, yeah, of course, because he's got better players. That's what I'm saying. He might go next year and win the league, win the champion. I think they should be winning the Champions League, especially.
Yeah, they should. They should definitely be favourite.
Yeah, they should be winning that. So obviously we'll have to see how he does next season. I'm sure he will be fine. Tuchel couldn't win it with them and then went to Chelsea and won it with, I'd say, a worse squad. So it can happen. But yeah, it's just one of them. There's a
with Arteta,
you get to it, because I can't.
Oh, yeah. Wait, has it gone on to it? No, wait. Still figuring out how to use StreamYard properly, to be fair. Yeah, big up Nippon. Has it come up? Yeah. Big up Nippon with the super chat. He's asked a question for Ryan. Do you rate Mönchengladbach, Florian? I don't even know how to pronounce the name. Neuhaus or something. Neuhaus or something, yeah. It's been a while since I did German, to be fair. I've never really seen him play, so I can't really comment.
Because Gladbach is actually like my German team, almost.
Oh, really? Okay, go on, Eleanor.
Yeah, I really like him. I think he's great. I think he's really, really good. I think he's gone kind of under the radar, and people don't really talk about him a lot. But Gladbach have a lot of players that I like. Thuram, Player, obviously Neuhaus. They have Sommer. They have a good squad.
Yeah, they do.
People don't talk about Neuhaus as much, but I think he's really good. I do rate him. I rate him quite highly. I think it's hard at Gladbach because their defense is quite poor, and I really liked them under Marco Rose before he got the Dortmund job. Once he got the Dortmund job, it was different. I think this is when we saw, you lot absolutely destroy them. But I think before that they were doing really well, and you saw him shine. But yeah, if Liverpool have been linked with him, it's a from my point of view. If you break my football knowledge, from my point of view, it's a good move. He's a good player.
Yeah. If you were to, in terms of the way he plays, if you were to which player in the Prem do you think, who we all know, reminds you the most of him in terms of the way they play? Do you think?
He's more of a, for me, he's like a better Partey almost. I think Partey's obviously he's kind of struggled a bit. So
Partey's a good player. Partey is a very good player. He's maybe just settling in. He's had injuries. Plus he's in a dead team.
We're talking as in where I'm talking as in he's coming to the Prem. We don't know how he's going to do in the Prem.
Yeah, of course.
So if he does well, I think he'll be that sort of player. But for me, I would take him. I think he's done really well at Gladbach. But Gladbach obviously have different expectations. You're not expected to win everything there, so it's different when you're going into the Prem with all that pressure. So yeah, we'll see. But I think he'll be a good move.
Yeah.
I assume he might not be a starter, but again, you never know.
I think, obviously, I don't know much about him, but our midfield options, we got obviously Fabinho and Thiago, who I think will be regular starters, and I think we'll bring in one more midfielder, or we should do anyway, because Van Adam's left. Henderson probably will start. I wouldn't personally. He'll probably be injured for most of the season as well. So yeah, he probably would get in. To be fair, I have to be honest. I don't really know much about, and especially ahead of like Ox and Cater and these guys as well. I don't know why they're still at the club.
I think it's good for you lot. You lot do need
I don't-
strength in that area, I think, because of the injuries as well that you lot get. So
I mean, Ox and Cater's doing his normal, apparently performing so well in pre-season, gets everyone gassed, and then he'll get injured at the start of the season anyway. So, fucking hell.
where you
T,
went,
big
how
up
long
my
with no
guy.
injuries? Didn't you lot go so long with no injuries, and you had one season where you got injured, and now?
Yeah, we went like two seasons without having really any injuries or any like long-term injuries as well. Obviously, we'd have a few like, oh, maybe a Mane's out for a couple of games, or Fabinho's out for a few games maybe, but like it would never be like, oh, a guy's out for like and one of our main players out for like 3 months or something. Whereas actually it all happened to like a Van Dijk and these guys in one whole season. It was mad, to be fair. Then you're having to play centre backs in midfielders and centre backs. It just fucked the whole thing up, to be fair.
I mean, I know we do that all the time, but I mean,
when I think about it, it's crazy because when you look in hindsight, Klopp obviously was putting like Fabinho and Henderson in like centre back in like the middle of the season, and it didn't work. But I understood why he did it at the time, because you're not going to trust Reece Williams and Nat Phillips at the back. But then when you do put them at the back, because you put Fabinho in centre mid, we were winning literally every game. And when you look at it in hindsight, if he'd have done that just earlier as well, we probably would have got second, to be fair, head of United. I don't think we would never have challenged City for the title, because you can't win a title with Williams and Phillips at the back. Like, it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like, I reckon we could have got second, definitely, because we only finished 5 points behind them anyway. So yeah,
it was a mad season, considering that they went unbeaten for how long, and mad.
Yeah, big up my guy Timo as well. He says, "Does Ryan still think Federer's one of the GOAT?" You know what it is with Federer, yeah, is I do think the best three players of all time are Nadal, Federer, Djokovic. But in my opinion, by far as well, comfortably. But in my opinion, I think those two, in particular, Djokovic, are comfortably above Federer. In my opinion, I can understand why people would say Federer could be the GOAT, but in my opinion, for me, it's Djokovic in it comfortably. I think Nadal has a reasonable shout as well, but for me, Federer, not in my opinion. I don't think he's the GOAT for me. Definitely not. But I do think he's definitely the third best of all time. That doesn't mean he's a shit tennis player or anything. He's one of the best, 100%. Question for Jan from Malcolm. Grealish or Kane?
Do you know what? In terms of what City need, we actually need Kane more than Grealish. But I think it needs to be Grealish and Kane, if we're being honest. I think City need to buy a striker.
That City life is so good.
Because the thing is, I know what City are like, and I expected Man City to go into the transfer window, go for Kane, Tottenham to say he's not leaving for less than 150 or something like that.
Yeah.
Man City to be like, we're not paying that, and then go and get Andre Silva. But Andre Silva's gone. So I don't know who the alternative is if we don't get Kane. Because
Haaland? Oh, is Haaland going to
Haaland, I think, from what they're saying, there's been no official bid made. But then other people are saying Chelsea are in talks and all this stuff. So I don't really know what's going on with Haaland. Dortmund are adamant he's not leaving. But I think if you went to them with 150 mil, I don't see how they turn that down. They're not the sort of club where they don't sell their players. If it was like
in the German league, City, yeah,
like if it's like a Man City and someone came for Foden and said 150 million, Man City would be like, no, we're not selling. We don't need to. Whereas Dortmund, they're known for selling their best players to their direct rivals in Bayern Munich. So to then turn down 150 mil, I don't really see it. I think they'll take it. So it will depend on what Chelsea offer. But yeah, if he does stay, then I think he can be available next year cheaper. So Man City probably would go in, in a bidding war with everyone else. Do you know what I mean? If he does become available, next year, because chances are, if it's a bidding war, even though it will go up and up, I don't think the fees that he's asking for will be as high. So I think we'll have to see, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. Unless City have got some sort of security from him that he's coming next year, I think they have to sign someone this year, to be honest. And it only really looks like Kane, because Lewandowski, I think, is happy. Lukaku's happy. So it's, it's going to be Harry Kane or no striker, by the looks of it. So I'm not too sure, unless we buy someone unknown that we haven't really heard of, then I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
Ali A asks, Ryan, which midfield did you want to replace Gini? Saul, Tielemans, Awar, or Basuma? If you're asking me, I could pick any one of those four. I'd pick Tielemans because he's my favourite out of the four. Plus, he's Prem proven.
Yeah.
But we won't get Tielemans. He's not realistic enough. So I'd probably say Saul over the other ones, to be fair. My opinion. I'd probably say Saul, to be fair. Yeah, this is a good question. Do you rate, from Steven London, do you rate Grealish above Foden?
Do you know what? I think Grealish right now
good question.
Is a better player right now, but I think Foden is so good so young. So I don't know if I was really hearing about Grealish when he was like...
Yeah, but that was because he's that... No, actually, I remember when at that age he was being... And Eleanor will say he was almost moved to Spurs, didn't he? Spurs were being really linked with him. And it was a big transfer saga. And plus he was in a really bad Villa side at that time, wasn't he?
We don't know. For me, I think right now you'd say Grealish, but I think in the future we'll have to see. Because
I'd have to say, for me,
Foden, I'm always gonna have Foden bias in it because he's City through and through.
Yeah, of course.
So it feels a bit like it's quite hard when you say, if you're asking me Foden or another City player, it's a bit different. But when it's like Grealish, I don't have that connection to Grealish, even though I do rate him really highly. So I think right now I'd say Grealish. I think he's actually saying, does he start above Foden? I think
he does. I think they both start, but I think
I think they both start. I think
if you could only start one of them, I'd say Grealish would probably be the one who starts.
Yeah, no, I think they both start. I think Foden starts out on the left. And I think you've got Mahrez out on the right. And then I think you have Grealish in the middle with De Bruyne. Yeah. And then Rodri or Fernandinho holding. And then I think it will be between Foden and Sterling on that left side. That's what I think will happen. Or between Sterling and Mahrez on the right side, depending on who's in form. It looks like Mahrez is in great form at the moment, so I do think it'll be Mahrez that starts. But yeah, Sterling is also in great form, so it could well be Sterling. I think Foden's still injured anyway, so I think the first couple of games will be Sterling and Mahrez, and then I think when Foden is fit, then we'll see him. But knowing Pep, we won't sign a striker. And one of them will be false 9 anyway, so who knows?
I think with these two, I think Grealish is better. I think he's got more to his game in terms of... I love Foden as well. Foden's got an amazing future and he's brilliant. But I feel like what I like about Grealish is two things. I think he beats players more. I think he's a better dribbler because I see him beat players a lot more. Whereas Foden, if Foden was 1-on-1 with someone, he wouldn't really beat them. He'd be more like close control, maybe link up with someone, play a 1-2 or something. He's that sort of player. He's more of a link-up player.
He was doing it a bit more in the Champions League because this season...
I'm not sure if he's a player that is going to roast a player. Do you get what I mean? Like Grealish does. Foden's more of the one-touch, two-touch link-up with players around him. Whereas Grealish will like roast you in it at times. Like if Grealish was 1-on-1 with you on the left, he'd roast you, like he'd embarrass you. Whereas I don't think Foden's that sort of player. He's a bit different. So I'd say
I think Grealish, because Grealish has said that he can play as an 8, he can play wherever they need him. I think if we don't sign a striker, Pep will probably just say, because Foden's quite versatile as well. So I think Pep will probably say to them, which position would you prefer to play in? And then try him in that position, because there's literally going to be space for both of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, because I don't really know. Pep might see him more as a number 8. Pep might see him as more on the left. You know, I don't really know. It would depend on what Pep wants, what he wants, what Foden. Because Foden doesn't mind where he plays. He's not bothered. He'll play anywhere. So I don't think he cares. So I think the one or the other. I think they'll be.
Yeah.
I think they will play together though. I don't think it's a case of we buy Grealish and Foden sits on the bench. I don't see that. But Pep, like this season, what Pep did is he had his Champions League team and his Premier League team. So in the Champions League, Foden started almost every game, whereas in the league he didn't play as much. And then in the league you had more like Sterling and Mahrez was more Champions League as well. So we had like Ferran Torres. He played a lot more in the league than he did in the Champions League towards the end. The group stage, it was the other way around. Torres played a lot in the group stage of the Champions League. And then Mahrez was playing more in the league, and then they kind of swapped. So, yeah. And Ferran Torres is another one. I expect him to get better this season. So, it's where he plays. Because I think he'll have a good season this season, to be honest. But I think he's going to be our false 9. I honestly don't believe we're going to sign a striker. I think it's going to be Ferran Torres up front.
I think you're going to get Kane. I think you will. I think Kane's been pushing it too much. I think you will get him.
I think Kane stays at Spurs this summer. I can't remember.
If he stays, then he's staying his career because he's going to get older and he's not going to be worth as much.
Don't get me wrong. He should move, but I think the money there, Levy's stubborn.
No. I don't think should is a right form of word to use, to be honest with you.
No, let's be honest. I know you're a Spurs fan, but Kane should be leaving, really. Like,
explain to me why.
Because he needs to be winning the trophies now.
He needs to win trophies. Okay. What about all these chances he's had at Tottenham to win trophies and he's done fuck all every single time?
I get that, but at the same time, you look at
a quality player, as everyone calls him, a quality of player that he is and he's supposed to be. Don't sit there and say you've never had a chance. Don't sit there and say I've got to. No, what annoys me is I don't deny the team's been bad, but what annoys me is when he says I've got to leave to win trophies. I'm sorry, you could have been a title winner and you could have been a champions of Europe. What did you do every time we needed you? Nothing. Stop making out that we're the same club as we were when Bale and Modric left and they said I have to leave to win trophies. They genuinely did. We weren't getting anywhere near to semi-finals and finals. Whereas we had a terrible season last season, still made the final, still could have won something, and you didn't. So stop making out that you've got to leave to win. I understand it'll be easier and you'll have an easier ride. I'm not denying that.
I agree with you.
I'm not denying that.
I know you do.
Listen, I'm not
no surprise there. Listen, any Harry Kane slander, she's
I love it. No, but she's right though. She's right.
But what I'm trying to say is I'm not denying the team's been awful. I'm not denying that he will have another an easier time at City winning trophies. But don't lie and say you have to leave to win, because that's not true. You've had chances to win things and you've not also stepped up. You're supposed to be that talisman player. Do something then. Stop making excuses. And someone also said to me today, which I will never forget now, he's always putting the blame on someone else, never himself. This is why he's not captain and why Lloris is, because he makes excuses. I don't want to leave my career with no regrets. Blah, blah. It's not even that. Yes, Kane didn't have as many chances created for him. I agree with you on there. But he's also supposed to be this world-class player, that you've got to be clutch. Yes, you do. You have to be clutch. So if you're going to live up to that name, do it then.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and slander the club that has stuck by you every time when you've messed up and then want to go and have an easy ride because it's going to be easy. Cool, go do that. But don't sit there and say you've not had the chance. Say I want to win things. That's cool. I'm not saying he's going to create more. He would get more chances at City, like as in a game. In those games, yeah, they will create 10 more chances than what we would in a 90. Yeah, his chances created have not been great, but he still can step up. There is supposed to be a player that can step up, and if he's supposed to be this £160 million player, then step up, because you're never doing it. And I'm not denying that we haven't created stuff for him. I don't deny that. I don't deny the team has been awful, and that doesn't help. But Kane never takes any responsibility. He just sits there and says he wants to go. Go then, because if you're going to sit there and complain, go, because I can't be bothered for players that don't want to step up and then sit there and say I've got to leave to win. Well, it's not 2012 anymore, Kane. You've had your chances. You didn't take them.
I get what you mean.
100%.
Oh, look who agrees. I agree. I agree.
You know what it is, though? No, because I
was
on a stream before, and I was saying the biggest, because a lot of people make a lot of excuses, like, you know, certain people on the panel make excuses for him by saying things like, you know, Tottenham aren't the best team, which, you know, we know that. And yeah, but he has had his chances, like you say. And the thing is, you can turn up in a final and your team not win. Like, you can do that. You can, both can happen. Like, you know, like, say, for example, the Champions League final, right? City weren't great in the Champions League final. I thought Kyle Walker played quite well. You know what I mean? And, like, I'm not a massive Kyle Walker fan, but he played well in that final. So he can hold his head up high and say, you know, City weren't great. City didn't win, but I played well. You know, Gabby, when he came on, he played well. You know, so them sorts of players. Fernandinho had a good game. You know, he was solid when he came on. We didn't concede any more goals. He can hold his head up and say, you know, I played my part. We weren't good enough, but I played my part. Other players that weren't good enough, like I thought Mahrez was so good leading up to the final. I know Pep changed the formation and stuff like that, but he wasn't very good in the final. Sterling hadn't been very good before the final, wasn't any better in the final. You know, there's quite a lot of players that you can look at. De Bruyne got most of the shit for it, because he's expected to be that guy that turns up and wins you the final. And because he didn't do that, yes, he got injured, but because he didn't ball out before that, really, he was getting a lot of the blame. Like, he actually created the only genuine chance in the game for City. He actually did that. But because that didn't go in, it was kind of like, you know, he was crap, he was this, he was that. And obviously he's going to get the slack. He's the best player in the team. That's what happens. But it's like with Harry Kane, like, he has had chances. And I would say, even more so than the finals, I would say that title race.
That you can't put that on Harry Kane.
No.
You're still top scorer in both seasons.
No, I'm not saying that, right? But what I'm saying is, in that situation, right, you had Tottenham Hotspur and Leicester City, right? It wasn't Tottenham and prime Man City. It wasn't Tottenham and prime Man United. It was Tottenham and Leicester, right? At the start of the season, if I'd have said to you, who is going to finish higher, Leicester or Tottenham, you would have bet your life on the fact that Tottenham would finish above Leicester, based on the teams that they had and where they were in the league prior to that season. You would have said Tottenham all day will finish above Leicester, right? It came to a title race. It was a 2-horse race. It was between Tottenham Hotspur and Leicester. And don't get me wrong, Leicester were brilliant that season. Can't really deny what they did, because they were brilliant. Yeah. But in that time, I'm expecting to see this Harry Kane step up and win his team the league. And we've seen it with other players that have done it before.
I think it's harsh to say that though, because he was still top scorer. It's not as if he had a shit season.
But that was before it got to the point of
when it mattered. And the thing is, even
didn't he score in that 2-2 Chelsea game? That he scored in that game, didn't he?
That 2-2 Chelsea game, but that's not where we lost the title. We lost the title before that. If you're relying on one game against Chelsea, then that's not where you lose the title. You lose the title before that.
So I'm not saying that he should have single-handedly lifted.
But then why don't we?
But
if you're criticising Harry Kane, then criticise Ozil at Arsenal that season. Criticise whoever was at Man United. Criticise whoever was at Man City that season.
Yeah, but the thing is, Man United. Sorry, I don't even think they were in that title race at all, to be honest.
Right. But why aren't they in a title race with Leicester then?
No, okay, yeah, I'm not saying that everyone.
Tottenham were in a title race. These guys weren't even in one.
If Man City are in a title race with Leicester down to the last couple of games, I'm telling you now, Man City win that title race.
You weren't in a title race.
No, I know, but I'm saying if we were, we win that. Our players would win us that title in that.
You know what the problem is?
You weren't in a title race. You can't say that. Obviously, I reckon you would.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
At least Tottenham put themselves in a title race that season.
Yeah, but we put ourselves in a title race. What she's saying is, if you're supposed to be world class, you're supposed to be this world class striker, this lethal finisher that is insane. Why can't you do that little bit more to win something? Whatever the time is, you push yourself to win that title. It's not just mentality.
Let me see that. Let me see. I want to actually see what happened in that title race. So that's 2016, 17.
You can say in that League Cup final this season, we didn't create him anything. Yeah, we didn't create him anything in that League Cup final. Cool, whatever. You lot messed up your chances. That okay. The Champions League final. Where were you? Because But
he was injured, to be fair.
Listen.
He was just coming back from injury.
If you deem yourself fit enough to play, you step up.
Don't you put blame on Poch for that?
Do I blame Poch for that? I blame them both, but it's not that mad to play your best player in your most important game in your club's history. It's not that mad. If you deem yourself fit enough, then Poch would believe that. And he said, I can do this. You're supposed to be world class. Very hard to drop him at that point. If you've said, I'm fit enough to play. Kane takes responsibility. Well, he's a grown man. He takes responsibility for his own fitness. Then Poch is thinking it's our club's biggest game. Am I going to drop the best player of our club has right now in our biggest game? And then you drop a 2 out of 10. I'm sorry, we created chances that game. If you look at the stats, I don't like to relive the game, so I'm not going to lie. I've kind of blocked it out. But when I look back at the stats, we were the better team.
You dominated possession.
More than
we were shit that game.
Listen, we created more. So that excuse is not relevant for that Champions League final. He just didn't do nothing. And you're supposed to be. And this goes back to England as well, with a super team around him. He dropped a 0 out of 10 then as well.
Nah, you weren't bad. You didn't have a bad game in the final.
He wasn't good.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't as bad as what people make out.
Was he good? Would you say he played well?
I don't think many England players played well.
Doesn't matter. I'm asking you about one player. I didn't ask you about the team.
I thought he held the ball up well at times. I thought he held the ball up well.
Overall, you thought he played well?
I thought he played okay. Okay, nothing more than that.
That's him every final, every clutch game. Exactly what you've said. It's barely okay. That's not okay.
I think it would help him though.
You can get players like this is the thing. Like I heard people genuinely say De Bruyne does not turn up in big games. I've actually heard people say that, right?
De Bruyne is in a team.
But the thing is, what it is the reason why people say that is because he's rated so highly. If he wasn't rated so highly, people wouldn't mention it. When you see players at City like Rodri, when Rodri plays badly in a final, no one really comments on it because it's like you don't expect Rodri to stand out and win Man City
in the final. No one cared.
Like, that's the thing. We weren't in our final against Spurs. We weren't at our best. We weren't, but it didn't matter because the thing is, one, we won in the end anyway, and two, it's like the players that you expected to play well were good enough that they weren't slandered. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the Chelsea final, our players were slandered because people were saying this City team, these players, I'm picking out specific players like I've mentioned, when they don't turn up, they're slandered for it because you expect from the best players in the league, you expect them to turn up in finals. That's why Pogba gets loads of shit if Man United don't do well in finals. It's not because Pogba's the only Man United player that didn't play well. It's because the standard that you expect from Pogba.
Actually, Pogba's done well in the Pogba's done well in finals. He won the first European final.
That's the thing. This is what I'm saying. He does because he is of that caliber of player. What we're saying is because Harry Kane is that good,
supposed to be,
you should expect that he turns up in finals.
But you know what I'll say about Harry Kane? Why I think people are being unfair of him. You look at the finals he's been in for one, the Champions League final. Who was the favourites for that game? It was Liverpool. So why are we getting on to Harry Kane for Tottenham losing when they were expected to lose?
On the day, in the game,
you can still turn up there.
And who was better? Don't care about.
But then even against Man City in the League Cup final, if you're not getting Harry Kane the ball,
League Cup final, it's different. If you can also, like Leanne said, you can play well and lose the game.
Yeah,
he never played
but
well.
he weren't getting the ball. You need to get Harry Kane the ball for him to do something.
Listen, I'm not denying that, but he's also got to take criticism because he's also done nothing. It's not a one-way street for Kane just because you score against Hull. I don't care. You score against Stoke. I don't care. Tell me when you can be Drogba, then I'll be happy with you. But at the end of the day,
even then, Drogba.
Listen,
what I'll say about Drogba is
we've stuck by him throughout all of this. Yeah, we've had fans telling us all of this for years. We've stuck by him and we've kept him up there, telling no, he will step up. He will step up. Let us down every time, and he can't sit there. And he now wants to go to City because it'll be easier. Cool. If you think that's going to give you the same feeling as winning something for Tottenham after how many times you've let us down, then you go. But my problem is that he acts like he ain't had the chance. He has had the chance. Don't make out you have to leave Tottenham to win something. That's not true. It will just be a lot easier at other clubs. Don't make out we haven't. In our worst season, we got to a final. So don't make out, like recently, don't make out you ain't had the chance. You had chances. You had chances and dropped a 0 out of 10 in every single one of them. You don't see other players making the same excuses that Kane makes. Kane gets so many excuses. He's not that kind of player. Needs chances created. He can pass the ball. We've seen it. He can get the ball and pass the ball to someone for their tap-in. Why don't you do that in a final? Why are you not dropping back and taking some responsibility and some chance? Nothing. But he will happily do that against, I don't know, Southampton on a Sunday at 12 midday, but he won't do it in a final ever. So
I think, do you know what? I think it's like I say, like when people do exaggerate sometimes when they say this player doesn't turn up in big games. Like you hear it a lot, and sometimes it's not true. Like sometimes there are players, and you can argue that in a North London derby, he definitely turns up. I'm not going to deny him that. Against Arsenal, he turns up. But it's one of them things, it's like, it's just, I don't know. For me, it's just like he has had opportunities, and there's a difference, like Eleanor says, between you don't have to win to turn up. That's the thing. You don't have to win. Like England could have lost that final to Italy, and you could have said Harry Kane was the best player on the pitch. But, England didn't win. But that wasn't the case. Like, do you know what I mean? It's, if anything, Shaw had a much better game, attacking-wise, and Shaw's a left-back. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't in the top 5 players in that England squad, and that for me is a concern because he's supposed to be a better player than Luke Shaw. He's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? Our biggest game players are actually Son and Ali, and I know Ali hasn't turned up in ages, right? But if you look at stats-wise as to clutch moments, it's never Kane. It's never Kane.
Son is the one that I fear when we play Tottenham. Because I know Son is going to turn up against Man City.
I also think that's because of his pace, so he can run and he can run down the wing and do things on his own. Kane
Harry Kane's got. If Harry Kane had mobility,
it would be
I
different.
think he'd be one of the best strikers of all time. You know.
I agree, but I do just think that we do. He gets away with murder. Kane does get away with murder. He does. And I'm not denying he's absolutely excellent. But you want to be that little bit more. You want to be what you want to be.
How much Jan's loving this?
Then do it in a final. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, Kane deserves no criticism. Please stay. If you want to go and make your life easier, go then. Because I'm not going to sit here and beg for you when you've done pretty much not much for us when we've needed you. When we've needed him, he's not. So.
No, you just know that me and Eleanor both right.
If you want my bottler, please take him for 160 million and we'll.
You know what? Yeah, my fear is that we get Harry Kane and then we don't win any trophies.
Give me 100 million a Mahrez and you can have him.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah, but Jan hates Mahrez as well.
No, I don't hate Mahrez.
Not anymore, anyway.
No,
I said Mahrez.
Can I just reply to this? Because me sounding bitter and me, okay, I'm a bit bitter. I have to agree, right? Number one, I am bitter. Two, do we need him? Of course, we need him because I'm sorry, we don't have owners that are gonna spend. So it's different. If I trusted my owners the way Leicester do, and they sell their best player and they actually rebuild properly, or Liverpool and you sell your best player, you rebuild properly, I wouldn't want him to stay. But because I don't trust Enid, I do worry about him going. But that doesn't mean that I sit here and say we have to keep him. Listen, if I don't want a player that don't want to play here, and that's my. And if you sit here and say he deserves to go to City, then you are also a Spurs fan that sees us as a stepping stone club. I back my club more than that. And I know other people say, well, that's what you think of our club. Me, as a Spurs fan, I don't see my club like that. I don't support Spurs to sit here and say we're a stepping stone club. You now make us that club. You make us that club. And I think that comes from within as a player and manager. So what I'm saying is that what I'm trying to say is, yeah, we need him because we don't have right owners, but you also need to step up and realize that you've not done anything. You're just taking the easy route out for me. Saying that you have to leave to win is just not true. To me, that is not true. Not where Spurs are now. It's just easier somewhere else. And that's what I see, because I don't think Spurs are in a position where we were that many years ago.
Yeah.
But it's like, when people talk about managers and they say things like I've heard Liverpool fans say to me, like, oh, they'd rather, they prefer like a Klopp because he's done it, with a lesser budget, whereas like Pep has to go to the best teams, or he needs the best teams to win. And it's kind of like somebody said something else that I saw the other day about winning one title. I think it was about Tati. He said winning one title with like Roma is worth way more than like winning at another club. And like, obviously in the past, you've had players that are stuck by their clubs, and I think Villa fans are now saying the same thing. Like Jack Grealish should stay and win with them because it'll feel better because it's his club and all that crap. But it's like, at the same time, it's kind of like, I do get it in a point, because I think if Kane won Tottenham a trophy, like as in he turned up in a final, scored the only goal, and Tottenham win something, he goes down as like a proper Tottenham legend for that.
Yep.
Whereas if he wins a title with Man City, unless it's like a club,
when he wins the title with Man City,
Champions League final, it's kind of going to be seen like, because if you notice with City, it's always the team won a trophy. It's not Raheem Sterling won City a trophy or De Bruyne won City a trophy. It's never seen like that.
Pep, that's one of the trophies.
Well, yeah, but Pep's the manager, innit? He's the face of City right now. But it's kind of like, that's kind of how it's seen. So if Harry Kane comes to City, unless we win the Champions League, he's just going to be seen as a squad player of Man City that won the league. You know what I mean? So I kind of, if I don't know, like, I think he has had opportunities. It does make it easier if he comes to City. He will score a lot of goals at Man City. There's no denying that. He will score a ridiculous amount of goals at City. And he will win titles, I'm assuming. Unless he is a trophy dodger for real. And then we're fucked for 4 or 5 years. And Ryan's going to be fucked. Because I'm going to be on his case going, I told you I was right. Give me all your money.
Listen, tell me that Son can't go to many teams in world football. Son can go to many teams in world football, and he's
Son hasn't performed in the finals either.
Son hasn't performed in the finals. Son has performed in more big games than Kane has.
Yeah, and he was the best. He was the best player against City as well in that.
By the way, who got man of the match in that Tottenham City game? I think it was Kane.
Nah.
How? He did nothing.
He didn't.
A lot of those games that Son scored and Kane assists him anyway.
Wait, City.
In what?
Even when you came to Anfield earlier in the season when Son scored and Kane assisted him still.
There's difference between Kane overperforming his XG as Son was as well and being literally just great for a little bit of time and being a big game player.
And I like Son as well. I'm a fan of Son.
If you look at his career overall, Kane's not that player. Son has been more that player. Yes, Son hasn't performed in the finals, but Son is now sitting there thinking, I'm not going to just leave that team that I've been sitting there fucking over for how long in a final. I'm going to sign a new deal and actually try. Whereas Kane's sitting there saying, no, I don't want regrets. Okay, off you go then. So what I'm saying is my respect levels are much higher for Son because, you just said he didn't perform in finals. Well, he's just signed a new contract to try fix that. What's Kane doing? Trying to get the easy way out? Off you go then.
Mahrez got man of the match. And it was Lucas Moura. That's the one that was really shone against. He shines in big games, Moura.
Lucas is actually a clutch player, right? But off the bench, it's actually so annoying because he's so awful as well. Like he will run into players, he will just run into nothing, run into
just the way she said he's so awful as well.
He is awful, but he's also quite clutch. So it's.
He's a big game player though, because sometimes you get them. You get players that aren't that good, but then in finals they really, really turn up, and then the vice versa. You get players that are good, but in finals they're like, they're all right. It's weird.
Right, let's move on from the Harry Kane slander because it just gets worse.
His man that plays for your team that's coming to my team, but he's his biggest fan. So
we're sitting here. And then you're sitting there defending. It's funny. Do you want him?
No, don't disrespect my guy, innit? It's my guy, Harold.
It's all right. When he leaves Tottenham, we can slander him together, innit? We'll have our Harry Kane slandering session.
We'll do that. We will.
Every time Harry Kane has a bad game next season, in the group chat, you're just going to be going for me all the time.
Listen,
I told you, the trophy dodger. So we win a trophy in the aftershock.
Eleanor, do you know what Jan City told me on the phone a couple of months ago? I'll tell you in the private chat. I don't want to expose her for this because this is actually what she said was so wrong.
Listen, my last point on this one point, and then we'll move on. Just because my owners are inept doesn't mean that I have to keep a player that doesn't want to be at my club. For me, no player is bigger than the badge on the front. No name on the back is bigger than the badge on the front. So if you don't want to be here, regardless of how good you are, regardless of all the slander I just said, I don't want you here. So just because my owners are inept, I don't want you here. So yeah, if you're going to sit here and say, oh, I can't wait for Tottenham to sell Kane and then leave you not to buy anyone or, to do what you did with the Bale money, that's your opinion. But for me, it doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter because I don't want to pay. I don't want to be here. I'm gonna read the private chat.
Yeah, let's just move out from the Harry Kane disrespect. Can I just get to this? Can I just get to this comment from Daniel? It says, "Why is Djokovic a sore loser?" So you're saying because he's a sore loser, he can't be considered for GOAT. How does that work? To be considered a GOAT, you have to be a very good player, and that's what Djokovic is. He's the best for me. Guys won, 20 Grand Slams. It'll probably be 21 soon. Only player ever to have won each Grand Slam at least twice. Not even the great Federer could do that. So, Yeah, Djokovic needs more respect, man. Nah, Djokovic needs more respect still. Ali asks, Ryan, would you take? No, I don't want Adama Traore. Definitely not. He's everything that I hate in a footballer, I can't lie.
Why? I don't mind.
He's awful. He's awful. He's awful. Nippon asks, question for Jan, does Gundogan start next season?
I don't know, to be honest. I think he was one of our best players last season. But it's where he'll play right now because Pep likes to play him in the DM position, and I don't think he's best placed in the DM position. I don't think he does it that well. So he would kind of have to play with De Bruyne. If we get Grealish, it depends on where Grealish plays because it'll either be Gundogan and De Bruyne with him out on the wing, or it will be him in the middle with De Bruyne and either Foden, Sterling, Mahrez, whoever on the wing. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. But he was so good last season. I would hate to see him dropped. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, whatever team you think the lineup's going to be, Pep always comes up with a different one. So I can't really predict Man City, but he will still play. And the thing is, I think Bernardo Silva might be on his way out. And I think also we've seen last season, like, we like to rotate our team. So I don't think Grealish coming in is going to affect City as much as people make out. Like, I don't think it's going to be a big drama because, he'll obviously play, but Bernardo Silva played a lot of games as well. So, yeah, I think he'll be all right. As long as Bernardo Silva leaves. If Bernardo Silva stays, we've got some issues because there's too many players really trying to fight. So it's gonna be quite difficult if he does stay. But people are saying in the comments about Pep losing to Ollie. Like, I honestly think a lot of City fans are quite annoyed because they say that Pep doesn't really take Derby Day as seriously as he should. I think that is something that he needs to look at. Maybe when Man United become proper title contenders, he'll take it a bit more seriously. But he kind of doesn't. Like, I've seen what Pep's like in games where he really wants to win, and he doesn't seem to have that mentality against Man United. And, it's one criticism I have of Pep, to be honest, because I think he doesn't take the derby seriously enough for my liking, especially in that 0-0. None of them tried to win that game. I expect that from Ollie. I don't expect that from Pep. You know what I mean? It was poor. And he wouldn't do that against Liverpool. He wouldn't settle for a draw against Liverpool unless we were playing terribly and there's no way we could win that game. But against Man United, I don't think he has that. I don't know. For Pep, I think he sees it as, how am I going to win the league? And I don't think he considers Man United part of that conversation, which, is one of them. He needs to be careful. He does. Lengan Sweet says, Man City do need Jack Grealish and Foden winger, so Jack is David Silva replacement. Yeah, I think because Bernardo Silva was supposed to be the David Silva replacement. And then he might be leaving now. So it does make sense to get Grealish if Bernardo Silva is leaving. It does make sense. Reaction to Poch losing another final.
Don't mean anything. It's a French Community Shield. No one cares about that still.
Honestly,
it's not a big deal.
I've got no worries. I back my guy in it.
Fraud Watch will be interested.
You need to chill because I'm not going to allow some Poch slander. You know I love Poch. So we're good. We're friends, but you're tethering that friendship. I can't lie. There's no Poch in the mud. Poch FC stands strong, guys.
I actually think Paul Pogba stays at United. What do you guys think? I think he stays.
I think he stays this season. I think he goes next season.
Yeah.
I think he'll go for free next season.
Contract, he'll go because he's got the power right now. He can kind of do what he wants. But I think it will be tempting because for me, if I'm Pogba, you can either stay at Man United where half the fan base don't like you, the other half of the fan base absolutely love you. The manager doesn't want to play you in your preferred position. You're playing with Scott McTominay and Fred sort of in the midfield. And yeah, you're not that happy. Or you could go back home to France, to Paris, play with your teammates in your national team, and probably, if we're being honest, win the Champions League, win the French League.
You're looking coming to the comments now.
I
Big
don't
up Tox, man. Says Poch's in the mud. Then says Pogba in.
I replied to Tox and said Poch FC stands strong, so don't worry. There is not in the mud. Not yet, anyway.
I like Poch, to be fair. Poch's quality.
I think if I'm Pogba, I think the PSG transfer seems probably the best option for him because he can have a fresh start. He can win probably the Champions League, definitely the French League. And then, I don't know, maybe in 4 years' time, moves on somewhere else at the end of his career and maybe wins a different title in a different league, like in Italy. We'll go back there and win it again. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you think Pep can turn Man City?
I think he already has. I think he already has turned City to the English Bayern Munich. I can't lie.
Pep's like, I love Pep. Like, how, like, people just want to slander Pep all day. Like,
no, you can't slander Pep. You can criticize Pep. You can criticize Pep for the dumb things he does in the Champions League, but you can't call him a fraud or anything. He's probably he's the best manager in the world, in my opinion, still.
You know what it is with Pep? Like, it's like, because somebody asked the question the other day, does Pep ever win anything that he's not favourite for? And I'm thinking, right, let's be honest, right? Pep is in contention for all 4 trophies every season, right? Whether he wins them or not depends. But I
think he's in it now. Is Pep ever had to be an underdog to win anything?
Yeah, so he's favourite for most of them. But you have to ask why he's favourite. Do you know what I mean? Because managers aren't favourite naturally. Like when Klopp joined Liverpool, he wasn't favourite to win the league. Now, last season, he was one of the favourites to win the league because everyone knew that he won the title with Liverpool. Can he do it again? Before he won that title with Liverpool, he's less likely to be favourite naturally. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like when Tuchel came in, he wasn't favourite to win anything with Chelsea last season. Now he's won the Champions League. He's going to be one of the favourites for the Prem. If he doesn't win that Champions League, he's not favourite for the Prem because they're going to say he just got 4th. So he wouldn't be the favourite. And that's kind of like, that's how it works. So Pep's only been the favourite because he set them standards. You know what I mean? And it's just one of them things. I love Aguero, man. Aguero was, you know what? Like, from when Aguero won us the league, it was just like cemented. Like, he could have not turned up in another big game and I would have been like, oh well. But like with Pep, with Aguero, he turned up.
I wanted to get on to you about something with Aguero. There was a comment earlier on. What do you think of when Pep was crying in that interview at the end of the season, and then Pep? Because I never spoke to you about it actually, and then Aguero's dad coming out and basically saying Pep was fake tears and all that. So, which I actually agree. I think Pep faked it a bit. I can't lie.
Nah, like I think with what Pep said, he was 100% correct. He is irreplaceable.
No, but he was faking the crying. He was faking the crying.
I don't know. Like to me,
yeah, but he's never been he's never even Aguero. Like, let's be honest, right? You have to think about it. At the start when Pep joined, Aguero a lot of the time in his first couple of seasons was dropped by Pep. When
Pep, the thing is with Pep, when Pep came in, there's things about Aguero that Pep didn't like. There's no denying that. I'm not going to say that it's not true.
And people thought Aguero would leave at that time
I think the way Aguero was treated at the end was not good enough, personally. I think for such a club legend, it shouldn't have ended the way it did. Because what happened is, at the start of the season, what I was aware of was that the players that were injury prone, getting older, them sort of things, they had to prove that they could stay fit for a certain amount of the season. So what happened is Aguero, Fernandinho, I think it was mainly them two anyway, they basically had to prove that they could stay fit for a certain amount of the season. So Fernandinho did it. You know, he was fit for most of the season. He played enough games, blah, blah, blah. Aguero wasn't. So Aguero kept saying that he was fit, but then the club would say that he wasn't fit. So it's like, I don't know whether he was saying, I'm fit, to kind of meet the threshold to stay. I'm not sure. And then he had a meeting with, obviously, the owners and Pep. Well, not the owners, Pep and like, I think, no, because Khaldoon wasn't in it because he called him after. But yeah, there was a meeting with Pep, probably Cheeky and the other one. And basically they spoke to him and they said, must have been Ferran as well. So they must have said to him, like, you know, because you've not met this thing, we're going to have to let you go at the end of the season. I don't agree with that. I don't think it was right. The way that we found out that Aguero was leaving, I didn't like that. I think they should have given him a better kind of send-off than what they did, personally. That's what I think. But, yeah, so his dad obviously isn't happy with that, with the way that Pep treated him, whatever. Like, there's no, like, I'm not going to, that's just factual. That's the way.
You know what? It's the fact that I do think Pep faked the tears, because what you have to remember, right? Aguero knows how he was treated by Pep. Obviously, we don't know, but he knows because it was him.
Yeah.
To me, Aguero's dad's going to have a better idea of where his son's head was at than Pep.
Oh, you go.
Big up, Eleanor. Yeah, big up.
Thanks.
Yeah, you'll see Eleanor on the next show, people. So you know,
I'm always here. I'm just
regular on the channel now, co-host on the Q&A.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Like I said, it's this three. This is the three in the Q&A now. I don't, you know, the best three in the best trio on the Q&A, and it's best trio on the channel. So yeah, big up, Eleanor.
Bye.
But like with Aguero, it was like Aguero's dad. Put it this way, I'm gonna take Aguero's dad more seriously in terms of how well he knows his son than Pep.
Oh yeah, like I'm not denying that he was lying or anything. Like he was not telling the truth. The thing is, what I think it is as well, is like, because I've never been more gutted about a player leaving than Aguero. Aguero was one of my favorite players ever. Like I love Aguero. In terms of the club, because a lot of City fans were saying a lot of our connection with Aguero is emotional. Yeah. So it's a very like, we don't want to lose this player because of what he's done. In terms of a business side of things and the club as a whole, Aguero is early 30s. He can't stay fit. When he does come back from being injured, it takes him a few games.
Jan, this is similar to what I was saying about Henderson.
Yeah.
Except the fact that Aguero is 10 million times the player Henderson is.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for City to sell Aguero. My issue, like I say, is how it was dealt with. I think that was wrong. I think Man City, it's obvious he was always going to leave. It's obvious. We know Aguero scoring 6 goals in a season with 2 of them coming on the last day of the season is not good enough. He's on 350 grand a week. You can't pay that much money to a player that is going to turn up. I can count on one hand how many fantastic games Aguero had last season. Do you know what I mean? And I think it was definitely his time to go. But I agree with you. I don't think the way it was handled was the right way. And I think he's one of them. His dad's not happy because he sees it as, this guy's a club legend. He should have finished his career at the club. I wouldn't have hated that. To me, he's worth 350 grand a week. I would happily keep him there and let him retire at City. But from a business football club trying to deal with financial fair play and everything else that's coming at us, it made sense for him to go. So it's a hard one. It's a hard one. I think if financial fair play weren't trying to take us down every minute, maybe he stays for the rest of his career. But I don't think financially, I don't think they could afford it. And it's just a shame because he happened to leave in a COVID season. Not many people got to say goodbye to him. I'm gutted that I never got to see him, to be honest. That friendly that they're playing against Barcelona, like, I'm tempted to go because it's just one of them. I'd like to see Aguero again. I hope we get like Barcelona in the group stage. I don't want them in a knockout stage, but I would happily take them in the group so we can see Aguero again when it's not too serious. You know, if we lose, it's not the end of the world because it's group stage, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, like, it's one of them things. I don't know, like, for me, like, Pep does like Aguero. It's not a case of he doesn't like him or he hates
but be honest. Do you honestly think those tears were genuine?
I don't know. They worked together in it. So I don't think they were fake. What he said was true. He is irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like, people are saying he says we can't replace him and then he buys Harry Kane. Harry Kane can't replace Aguero. He must be mad.
Think he can't? I think he can.
No, he can't. He can't replace Aguero. He can replace the goals that we've missed from Aguero. Don't get me wrong, he can replace that. But as a player like Aguero, like, he is something else. And the thing is, like, he was at Man City doing this madness for like 10 years. Harry Kane, even if he came now and starts scoring...
Why if Harry Kane winning the Champions League a couple of times, though?
Then he will become a legend at City, but it wouldn't be that he's replaced Aguero, if you know what I mean. I don't think you can replace that sort of thing. Because people forget as well is he was the first to win us the Prem. Like, he was the first one. And it's like, he's very important for that reason. It's like Yaya Toure. We'll have great midfielders, but Yaya Toure is always going to be held that little bit higher because he won us our first. My first trophy that I ever saw in my life was won by Yaya Toure. And not only just won by in the final, he actually won the semi-final as well. That got us to the final, that won us the first trophy. So, like, I will always love Yaya for that. I'll always love Aguero for that. So it's when he says that, like, he is irreplaceable. You know what I mean? The same way, like, say Harry Kane won the league for Tottenham. Say he did win the league in 2017, and then he won the Carabao Cup last year. He's going to be irreplaceable to Spurs. Even though they can get a striker in that can come in and score goals, he's still going to be irreplaceable. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like on that level. In terms of, can we get a striker who scores the same amount of goals as Aguero? Of course we can. Do you know what I mean? But it's different. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Nippon asked when's the next video on this channel. I think they might be doing Gunner Talk tomorrow. I'm not sure. Other than that, I think Tuesday we're doing a West Indies Pakistan watch along. Obviously, if the game goes ahead, that'll be kind of a decider for the series. You know, if we win, I'm going to be unbearable to Jan and Flawless. That they know that, so it'll be good. It'll be good still. Talk saying Poch in the mud. I might see more comments. Yeah, I already answered that question earlier. I would never take Adama Traore at my club. Never. I'd probably rather keep Shaqiri if I'm being honest. I just don't rate Adama Traore still.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this?
Do you know what? Like, I think the Champions League is not something that you can get someone in to win. Has Zidane got a better record than every other manager in terms of how well he's done it in that short amount of time? Then yeah, of course. So I don't know. Maybe I have said that when Pep leaves, I would take Zidane. Because if we get Zidane in and he doesn't win the Champions League and Pep didn't win it, then it shows that it's a club issue, not a manager issue. That's all I would say. Zidane would prove that. which I think it is to do with the club. I don't think it's as much to do with the manager. Don't get me wrong. Pep fucked up that final. No one can deny that. I don't think the players particularly played well either, though. I don't think, like we were just saying about Harry Kane, not many of them could hold their head up and say they had a fantastic game in that game. So it's one of them. I would blame Pep for that personally, because I think he made the most ridiculous decision. But at the same time, I think that's not quite why he's favourite. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, you die.
A big of Nippon says become a Nippon. You already remember. Have you upgraded or something? Just tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see anymore. It's just the same. People spamming comments. People don't spam comments, man. We'll get to your questions. If we just put it once, trust me, we've seen it in it.
Yeah.
Talk with Pep is fake. He mistreated. Those tears were fake. Those tears were not. In my opinion, those tears were not real. In my opinion, genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Lengan Sweet agrees with me. Pep was never a fan of Aguero. To be honest, I agree, Ryan. Yeah, but look, I think he was.
He did drop him when he came in.
But yeah, they were crocodile tears. They were not genuine, in my opinion. He did put it on. When I saw that on TV, I was like, nah, Pep crying over Aguero. I didn't expect that. And then when you hear what his dad said, I was like, nah, he was genuinely that. There were no genuine tears there, to be fair.
I love Aguero, man. I miss Aguero already.
Nathan says Shaw or Reguilon. Based on this, you have to say Shaw. Reguilon, I really like Reguilon. I think he's probably better going forward, but Reguilon looks a bit dodgy defensively, to be fair. Nippon asking what happened to Flawless. He's just he's not feeling well at the moment. He's had bad headache and stuff. Probably come on the next stream and blame me for it or something. Oh, what do you expect when you're spending so much time with streaming with Ryan and stuff like that? Like, he'll probably blame me in it. Like, so yeah, I mean, he'll be back soon. Don't worry, people. Talk saying Flawless in the mud. Lord Chappelle. I think he's talking about Poch in it.
That's why he's not on the stream. I knew there was a reason. Terrible. Ducking the slander, mate.
Yeah, I'm just going through some of the comments still. People asking the same. Yeah, and there's a question for you. Wait, I'll just get to this comment from Tox. Tox is proper hating on City this show. Go on, Jan. Go on a rant.
I think he needs to worry about his own club.
Or maybe he should.
Better than making our club legend the manager of our team, and then we're struggling to win a Europa League final in it. So, it is what it is.
Fair enough. Nippon says, is the friendly against Barcelona at the new camp or the Etihad? I think he's saying.
I think it's at the new camp. I think it's because they're broke and they're trying to make money. City don't need a friendly. It's after the season starts. It's not good for City. But obviously, our club are linked with Barcelona because they're all mates. So if they can help them out, they'll help them out. Annoyingly. Do you know what? Actually, Mendy was such a good player before that injury, man. I feel like
Mendy was good, man. But just injuries screwed him up.
That's not a fair comparison, because it's like if Van Dijk came back and he wasn't the same, and then I don't know, Zuma has the season of his life, and then say who's better, Van Dijk or
Zuma. Well, you know what happened? Lewis is you should see our Shameless FC group chat. Lewis is already pushing the Christensen over Van Dijk agenda. You see that the other day after Van Dijk made that mistake in pre-season. You know, Lewis is so
sort of thing that happens, though, isn't it? That's why, like,
Lewis is shamelessness.
Mendy at Monaco, like, yes, Shaw played well against Man City, but like, literally, Benjamin Mendy mashed us up. When he first came to City, he was like, when you watch that Man City All or Nothing, when you watch that and you see when he first came in and how good he was, and then how he is now, it's a bit like, it's kind of like comparing Shaw after his double leg break. Like, he wasn't great until, this probably last season was his best season, So I think it's a little bit unfair on Mendy. But right now, Shaw's better than Mendy. But I think before, Mendy was better than Shaw. So it's one of them.
Fair enough. The interesting comment. Iron Robin, Deco, Frank Ribery, Goetze, Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o said Pep is an arrogant person, never got on with Pep as a person because of the way he treated him. I've heard Zlatan criticise him as well, to be fair. But
do you know what? With Pep, it's I think he's like mustard. You either love him or you hate him. Because for every player that says they can't stand him, you've got another player that says he's the best coach in the world and he's the best they've ever had. So it's one of them. It's one of them. So
Can't come close without Messi, Iniesta, and Xavi. I do think he kind of needs to get the Messi thing off his back.
He literally just lost the final. So
but he did screw up that final, to be fair.
Can't come close. He's going out in the group stage to Istanbul.
To be fair, though, this is the only time he's come really close to winning it since Barca. I think at Bayern he got
to be honest, I think in the Champions League, what gets Pep is that
he overthinks it.
Overthinks it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not that he's not got the squad or he's not good enough. Like, the thing is, if Pep was only winning cup competitions, then I'd be like, but to be the best manager over 38 games, but not the best over 13, I'd be more concerned if it was the other way around and he just couldn't win the league, because that would show that as a manager, he's not consistent. Do you know what I mean? Which is what you want, because consistency will lead you to them European titles. You know what I mean? Like, Fergie was winning the league religiously. Champions League, he wasn't winning religiously. And that's the best manager the Premier League has ever seen. We're struggling in that department. So it's one of them. I think you have to see it like that. If Fergie was winning the Champions League 5, 6, 7 times, then I'd fully agree with you on that. But, it's one of them. I understand United fans don't like Pep. I wouldn't blame you. If I was a United fan, I'd hate Pep. So, yeah, it's one of them. But I don't know. I think it's a club problem. I don't think it's a Pep problem. I don't think anyone really got close. Pellegrini got to a semi. They didn't even turn up in the semi. So it's just one of them, innit? It's not like we've been getting close and winning it, and then Pep's come in and we're nowhere near. It's kind of like we've been getting closer and closer and closer. I'm sure we'll win it eventually. Whether that's with Pep or not, I don't really know. I don't really care. You know what I mean? We can just win it, and then everyone can shut up, and then we can go back to
if Pep doesn't win the Champions League at Man City and leaves, his worst nightmare would be the next manager winning the Champions League.
Well, that's what would happen.
That would be Pep's worst nightmare.
But that would obviously be what happens.
Yeah.
That's what's happened every time with Chelsea. It's what's happened with a lot of teams. That's what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Pellegrini came in and won the league and the League Cup in his first season. Like, that was Mancini's squad. Like, it wasn't like he came in, developed the team, and then we won the double. It was we won a double, I should say. But it wasn't like that. Like, he actually had Mancini's team. But obviously, he got all the credit for it. And then after that, we kind of weren't that great under Pellegrini. And then he got sacked because Pep came in. But, yeah, it's just one of them. Like, Pep could leave at the end of next season, and his team with no one added to it, could go and win the Champions League. And everyone would say that manager's better than Pep because he's come in and he... You know what I mean? That's just the way it works. So I honestly think that it might be the case. It might be we could get some random manager come in and they could win the Champions League. Because you know what? Sometimes when a manager is not as good, they do the basics. And sometimes the basics is what needed to win.
That's a very good
in a cup competition, especially in a cup competition. You just need to do the basics, you know. And I think, honestly, like if you put a fan in charge of Man City for that for that Champions League final, I'm telling you now, they play that exact same squad that played against PSG, and we have a much better chance. I'm not saying we would have won it, but we would have had a much better chance, and we would have been in that game for longer. So, and that's a fan. So, you know, I don't want to say I'd do better than Pep, but I would have done the basics. And I think the basics would have helped us in that Champions League final. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Nathan has thoughts on Bruno. I'll let you go first, Shan.
Do you know what? I think Bruno is one of them. Like, you can't deny what he's done for United. He's come in. He's got goals. His assists are a bit dodgy because sometimes it's like the weirdest pass. And then Pogba will just score like a whirl.
His assist,
and they'll say, "Oh, Bruno assist," and it was like a 5.
Yeah, it's not a proper assist. It's the way it is with the class nowadays are dumb.
Some of his assists are questionable. There's not like them De Bruyne passes where it's like round and you're like, "Wow, what an assist!"
Right at the end of your toenail and shit.
Yeah, but his goals are good. I can't deny that. Obviously, he got pens, but he scored some
pens. I don't know, man.
So he scored some good goals. That goal against West Brom, that was a good goal, but they didn't win. Yeah. A lot of his good goals came in games where they didn't actually win. That's the thing. A lot of his best goals, anyway. But yeah, I think he did all right. I think people were probably trying to put him into conversations he shouldn't have been part of. And what a lot of people failed to realize as well is he was kind of playing where he wanted to play. He wasn't like set in a position, so he was kind of like sometimes he was almost like a false 9. So that's why he was getting goals. He does give the ball away quite a bit. When I watch him, I don't think, wow, this player's fantastic, but he's efficient. He gets them the goals and assists, and football is a game of goals and assists. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe not focus too much on that. If you look at the bigger picture, it's one of them.
I hate him.
If he played for City, I think he would frustrate the life out of me.
Oh, Pep would never have Bruno.
The way he plays, yeah.
Pep would not stand Bruno. Pep couldn't stand Bruno, but I hate Bruno in terms of not the fact that he plays for United, but Bruno is everything I hate in a footballer. Just the way he plays. He's everything I hate in a footballer, like literally. Oh my, it's literally all about stats. He gets rated purely of stats. When you watch him in an overall game, he's shit. He's given to people say he's a midfielder. He's basically playing as a striker.
Yeah.
United, let's be honest. If you look at his heat map and shit, he's basically playing as a striker. His passing's not that good. He doesn't take any care in his passes either. He just spam passes without any thought. Like, I just don't like him.
Honestly,
I genuinely do not. I don't like what he represents as a football in terms of the stats in it. Like, you know what? He's not won any. As how Harris says in it. People say the impact he's had. He's not won any. What's he won them? He's not won them anything. So like, what's the point in it? He's even in that Villarreal game. He was awful. He was absolutely dreadful. Like if he's given too much. To me, if I was a United fan, I'd be upset that he's the reason why Pogba isn't playing in his best position. Because Ollie puts Bruno there instead. It should be Pogba being given that freedom, if anything, not Bruno. So yeah, I don't like Bruno, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Samuel, like at least if you're gonna come for Man City, at least get it right. You don't have 20 more Premier League titles than Man City because you don't have 20 Premier League titles in the first place. You actually have 13. Man City have 5. So yeah, it's not.
Jan, can I just say you look really good today? I'm not gonna lie.
Is that because of what? Is that because of what?
What? Nah, you look really good today. Like really.
Thank you. I think Prime said it further down. I've seen it.
Why? What's Prime said? I'll have a look.
No, it's not excuses, Tux. It's like comparing Shaw before last season, man. Shaw wasn't all that until recently, the last couple of years. See, this is the thing, because Steve says, like, Zidane's man management, tactics and style of play are dead, just relied on world-class players and flat La Liga. I think he did all right. He did win the league twice, I think.
He's won the league twice, yeah.
Yeah, I think he won it twice. He did say, and a lot of managers say it, that the league is harder to win than the Champions League, but no one ever wants to hear that. But that's what he said. Zidane, you know, come at Zidane, don't come at me. That's what he said. Pep also said that, but people would expect Pep to say that. But yeah, it's one of them. That's what he said. It was harder. It was tougher for him to win the league, just because you have to be consistent, especially in a league with Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, you know, and Premier League too. You have to be very, very consistent. I think in the German league at times where Dortmund aren't competing too much, I think Bayern Munich don't have to be at their best to win. I think last season they weren't top of the league for a while. And the next time I checked, they were like 10 points clear. You know, so it's like they don't have to be at their best to win it. French league as well. Obviously, last season, PSG didn't win it, but normally they don't have to be at their best. And you could say the same with Juventus. Usually, they don't have to be at their best. Last season, they did, and they weren't. And obviously, Inter went and won it. But yeah, I think Zidane did say that he struggled to win La Liga. He did say it was difficult, but he did win it. So I can't really, so far, I don't think you can really argue with Zidane's success as a manager.
Yeah.
What you can argue is that he had a very good team in Real Madrid. And then when he didn't have the best team, which is the last season or two, he hasn't really done too well. So you could argue that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Samuel asked when Shameless FC back. Yeah, we didn't do it this weekend because everyone was just mad busy in it. We just couldn't find the right time to do it and stuff. But yeah, it should be back probably Friday at 8 o'clock is when we know scheduled time for it normally. So could change, but yeah, I think we'll be doing it this week definitely. Obviously it's up to Lewis as well. Pep treated Aguero like he treated Eto. He doesn't like elite strikers for some reason.
You know, he doesn't really like strikers. I think he's got. I don't know. We'll see what happens if he gets Harry Kane, because that's a striker. But I don't know. Yeah, Yaya. I don't know. Yaya had a few issues with a few managers. I don't think it was just Pep, to be honest. His agent is the problem. I think not Yaya, the agent, man. His agent just comes out with some stuff. Like, he's put a curse on Pep that he'll never win the Champions League. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's working. So I don't know. I think his agent.
Talk saying she said a fan would win the Champions League quicker than Pep Guardiola.
I mean, you would probably more likely to win the league, you know, than Ollie. But it is what it is, isn't it? I think, to be honest, like, and yeah, but the thing is, you say that Fergie conquered Europe with Aberdeen, and then you say Man City have not won a European Cup. Like, pick one. You can't have both. It's either Fergie won the Cup Winners' Cup, City won the Cup Winners' Cup, or Fergie conquered Europe with Aberdeen, and Man City have conquered Europe before. Like, come on now, seriously. But nobody says that Fergie, no one discredits Fergie, that's what I'm saying. But when it comes to Pep, people want to discredit him. That's the difference.
Maybe Fisher said we'd win the league next season if we had Pep, but since we've that donut in charge.
Yeah, Pep would win the league with United squad for sure.
See, even Prime saying it. Ryan, you're my brother, and I don't mean. How you disrespecting me, bro? But Jan is looking glowing tonight. I don't know what it is.
I hope so. That's good. That if I'm
he's glowing anyway. But today, I think the Jamaica shirt's really suiting her today. It's like, Jan, you're looking.
You know, I love this shirt. You know, I need to get the new one.
Yeah, you're looking fire today. I can't lie.
Thank you.
I mean, you always look fire, but today's a bit.
I got paint in my hair, and like when I've washed it out, my hair is like matted, like still matted.
Yeah, you're looking fire still.
It is, isn't there? I've got work in the morning as well. I've got work at like in 7.5 hours.
Raphael G says, Bruno's a grade A for stats, but a grade D for... He's a bloody grade U for the eye test, Bruno. Can't stand watching him. Big Talk says, Bruno plays higher than Cavani Mosque. Yeah, Bruno's your striker most of the time, to be fair. Can't deny that. Let's see more comments. Kevin De Bruyne will struggle in United's team. Under Ollie, yeah, I think anyone struggles under Ollie.
I agree with that, but I think De Bruyne was balling out for Wolfsburg, and I think Wolfsburg's team weren't as good as United's.
But Ollie's ruining plays.
Though. Yeah, under Ollie, I agree. In United's team, I don't think so, because I think De Bruyne is much better than Bruno, and Bruno doing well in United. So
yeah, but then Ollie would probably put KDB in like DM or something like he does with Pogba.
Well, that's what Pep did in the bloody in the Champions League final. He's playing in some dodgy position.
Yeah, it's like Ollie would play like KDB in a 6 or something like he does with Pogba. It's like, and then put Bruno ahead of him. Yeah, Ollie's ruining plays, man. Raphael G asks, who will go down as the big legend for Man City, KDB or Yaya?
I think Yaya Toure is already a legend. The thing is with Yaya is it's kind of the way he left didn't help his case, because like his agent was proper bad mouthing Man City. It wasn't a case of he's bad mouthing just Pep. It was a club thing, and a lot of people felt like, because we love Yaya Toure, but it's kind of like when his agent came out chatting his shit.
The birthday cake and all that, yeah.
Yeah, but Yaya Toure didn't come out and say like, no, you know what I mean? It's not. He just kind of let it slide, and it's kind of like he was attacking the club. And the thing is, like, that birthday cake is the weirdest thing, because what Man City, they have like an episode every week, and it's like City, what's happened behind the scenes, so you can watch it, and it's got like the tunnel cam and like training sessions, and it shows like clips of everything that's happened. And I actually watched the one where we won the league, because obviously we won the league on Yaya's birthday, because his birthday is the 13th of May, and that's when we won the league. So I was watching the video, and we won the league. And then after we won the league, it shows like celebrations. Then it shows like it flicks to like the flight to Abu Dhabi, because obviously they flew to Abu Dhabi after the game, right? So he's on the plane with his earphones on, chilling like this, right? And they start singing happy birthday to him, and they bring him a cake. Like, they actually bring him a cake on the plane, and Yaya's like just listening to his music, ignoring the cake, right? Then when he gets to Abu Dhabi, it shows the sheikh has got this cake, and it's a football pitch, and it's a cake for Yaya Toure. So even the sheikh bought him a cake. So it's just bizarre, that cake story, because it's like I saw with my own eyes him get 2 cakes, and then he says I didn't get a cake. It is so weird. Like, it's so, they even sang happy birthday to him. It's just the weirdest thing, because I'm like, if I hadn't seen that, I'd be like, Yaya's right. They forgot his birthday. They didn't buy him a cake. But it's like, I've seen him get 2 cakes. It's just the weirdest. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't get that. I really don't get that. It's so weird.
Yeah. Oh, wait. There's a comment there asking, is my guy shooting his shot? I'm always shooting my shot, man. Yeah, I'm always shooting my shot.
There's loads of bullet holes in the wall where he's missing it. But it is what it is.
I think that would be a good time to close the show, to be fair.
If Man City had kept Mancini, would they have won the Champions League? It's interesting, because who knows in it?
Who asked that?
Nippon. But the thing is...
Nippon, remember to Nippon, if you're still there, remember to tell us what membership you signed up to. Because I thought you were already a member, but it doesn't tell us what you actually...
it just says...
just this new member, but I thought you were already a member, so it's... Just clarify that for us, Nippon.
I think
what price is the prime chip
shooting flags. Do you know what? Yeah, like it's if you keep a manager for a long time, he probably would have rebuilt the team himself.
Mm.
Who knows? Who knows? Because Mancini, I've seen him lose a final. You know, the FA Cup wasn't great. The players didn't turn up for him, but wasn't great. You know, Champions League, we didn't really get far under Mancini. We were quite new to the competition. We did have some very difficult groups. So I think you can kind of make an excuse for Mancini in the Champions League a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I think we'll end the show there then, because been going for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, Davy Fisher, just before we go, he says, or Davy Fisher says, being Mr. Nice Guy like Ollie gets you nowhere. We'll win nothing with him. Pep falling out players doesn't take away anything. He's one of the greatest managers of all time. I just think Pep just knows what he wants, and obviously some players don't like that. Obviously, like, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, innit? That's all I'll say. Obviously, players are not happy. Obviously, the players are not happy all the time. You know what I mean? But then you hear rumours like Laporte's really not happy. He wants to go. And then next minute, he comes out and says, you're chatting shit. So, I don't know. We'll see. Before we go, though, I'm just going to answer this last question because it's about my babes, the love of my life. Where do you rank Fernandinho between the great DM in Premier League history you had a chance to see? That's a hard one. I wish I'd not read that out now. I'm going to have Fernandinho bias, so I'm not going to do that. But for me, he's underrated as a DM. I think a lot of conversations about the greatest, and he doesn't really come into them. And I think, I'm not saying he's the best ever, because I don't think he is, but I don't think he's as far off as people make out he is. So that's all I'll say. But yeah, I'm big up Yaya.
He's up there. He's up there still.
It'd be interesting to see what Yaya does as a manager, considering he's now becoming a manager. Be interesting to see what he's like. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, Ryan is a Gillis. You're right, Vladimus. Prime. Got pure girls on his phone. Why do you think he's always checking his phone midstream? Like, yeah.
Right, I think we'll end the show there, people. Yeah, so big up everyone for tuning in. You know, big up everyone in the comments. You know, it's been a good show. Big up Eleanor, who was on earlier on as well. Yeah, and any last things to say, by the way?
Nah.
Yeah, so we'll close out the show there, people. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, share it across your socials, join the membership. And yeah, cheers for joining in. And this has been the Sarcasm City Sports Q&A on Sarcasm City TV. Thank you very much for tuning in.